Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. I sell jars in Konoha Village. Chapter 61. This rice ball sounds extraordinary, so it shouldn't expire. Well, this is a question. After hearing Tiantian's words, Linmo looked at the Momotaro rice ball with a strange expression, and found that there was indeed no word about expiration in the description. No. The next second, Linmo shook his head gently and said, "This is not an ordinary rice ball, so there is no expiration." Although it was not in the description, Linmo knew it. This kind of props that do not have an expiration date are usually not described as having a shelf life. Since there is no time, it will not be emphasized that this kind of prop will become invalid due to time. This can be seen from the animal biscuits just now. The animal biscuits opened by Hinata Hiyashi before only lasted for 5 minutes, while the animal biscuits opened by Tiantian's mother lasted for a full day. Oh. After getting Linmo's affirmative answer, Tiantian looked enlightened. At this time, Tiantian's mother had already hung the Momotaro rice ball on her waist and continued to knock open the third and fourth jars. Bang bang, 2 times. The 2 jars broke, and a white experience light ball and a blue light ball fell down. Sure, Mom. Seeing this, Tiantian was surprised. They are all light ball type things, I'm lucky. The blue light ball and the white experience light ball are both good things. Tiantian's mother was also surprised when she saw this. 1,000 kilometers of running experience comes from the long-term running training experience of a long-distance runner. After fusion, you can instantly get 1,000 kilometers of running training and enhance your physical fitness. Chakra of ordinary genin comes from the chakra that an ordinary genin has cultivated hard. After fusion, you can instantly superimpose your own chakra and increase the chakra of ordinary genin level. At this time, Linmo, who was looking at these 2 things, sighed in his heart. 2 garbage. Not even elite genin. This is a running experience, accumulated 1,000 kilometers. Immediately, Linmo introduced to Tiantian's mother. As for the other blue light ball, it is the chakra amount of genin level. It sounds good. Hearing Linmo's words, Tiantian's mother's eyes lit up. She immediately reached out her hand and touched the 2 balls of light. In an instant, the 2 balls of light flowed into her body, making her feel that her chakra increased while she also felt that the muscles of her legs were slightly bulging. At the same time, her body also received feedback and felt that her legs became stronger. It's really comfortable. After the fusion, Tiantian's mother smiled. This feeling of becoming stronger out of thin air is really different. Without any hesitation, Tiantian's mother looked at the remaining 6 jars and decisively smashed 3 of them. Bang bang bang. 3 more jars broke and 3 things fell down. A palm-sized knife, a white ball of light, and a test tube filled with liquid. It seems that I have good luck. Looking at the white ball of light among the 3 things, Tiantian's mother smiled. Another experience ball of light. This jar is worth opening. Having fused the experience ball of light, she fully knows the value of this kind of thing. Omitting the steps of training and directly obtaining training out of thin air through money is something that money cannot buy. As long as it is an experience light group, you will make a lot of money. A broken sword from an unknown underground world. It is no longer sharp, and only the broken blade that can split your fantasy is left. A chef's cooking experience. It comes from the cooking experience of a master chef throughout his life. After absorbing and integrating, you can instantly become a chef who can cook. Ordinary catalyst. A catalyst made of various basic materials from a certain underground world, which can be used to forge weapons. At this time, Linmo took a look at what Tiantian's mother opened and found that there was nothing special. Instead, the catalyst made him take a second look. But it was just a glance. If I remember correctly, this thing is divided into several levels: middle, upper, special, and lowest. This ordinary catalyst is just a lower level, but it is not bad to be used specifically for forging weapons. Thinking of this, Linmo said, "A sword that is about to break, one is the chef's cooking experience, and the other is a catalyst. I won't say much about the past 2 days. Let me talk about the catalyst at the back. This thing is a strengthening material. It is effective in forging weapons. You can try adding this thing when forging ninja tools. Something that is effective for forging weapons." Hearing Linmo's words, Tiantian's mother was surprised and immediately reached out to pick up the 3rd catalyst. This thing looks like some kind of potion, but it turns out to be a catalyst. Interesting. Then, Tiantian's mother looked at the cooking experience, without any hesitation, and decisively reached out to touch it. In an instant, the cooking experience flooded into her mind, making her eyes brighter. It can actually cook like that. This cooking experience completely broke her cognition and made her learn a lot in an instant. The experience light ball is really amazing. For a moment, Tiantian's mother sighed. Even if I can cook, after integrating this experience light ball, I feel that my cooking skills are just like a novice. That's right. Hearing his mother's words, Tiantian nodded in agreement. I have also opened this experience light group before, and I can deeply understand my mother's reaction. Nowadays, I also have a lot of experience in cooking. And Tiantian's father also nodded gently, agreeing with this. Only those who have integrated the experience light group know the value and significance of this thing. This can completely change someone's life. It allows people to master a certain method instantly and get the effect of exercising out of thin air, without consuming materials or anything. Because only when a chef is proficient in cooking can he be sure that the food will be delicious. Just like refining chakra, practicing taijutsu, and practicing ninjutsu, you must work hard to train. Even if you are a genius or a gifted person, you cannot succeed just by practicing a few times. Ninjutsu needs to be developed, and the amount of chakra needs to be refined. But now, all this can be obtained out of thin air from the shop owner. The cost is nothing more than money. 100,000 taels is not small money. But compared to the harvest, it's just blood money. When I get back, I'll show you my skills. At this time, Tiantian's mother smiled and touched Tiantian's head. Your mother's and my craftsmanship will definitely exceed your imagination. Just cook according to your own fusion of chef experience, and you will definitely be surprised every day. Then I'm looking forward to it. After hearing what my mother said, Tiantian's eyes lit up slightly, and she rubbed her hands excitedly, looking forward to it. Even though I know how to do it myself, I still want to show my hands to my mother. It's fine now, just let mom show it. Tiantian's mother looked at the remaining 3 jars and decisively chose to open them all. Bang bang bang. 3 jars shattered and 3 more objects fell. A white hand bone the size of a palm. A stone that exudes gleaming light. There is also a ninja forehead protector. Looking at these 3 things, Tiantian's mother looked at the ninja forehead protector with a strange expression. She had already recognized the symbol on the ninja's forehead protector. It was the symbol of Konoha Village. Can this thing be opened from a can? Not only Tiantian's mother was confused, but Tiantian also looked at the ninja forehead protector in surprise. You know, ninja forehead protector represents a kind of identity authentication, which is a very important thing. Ninjas generally regard this as extremely important. Why does this kind of thing appear in the jar? Tiantian looked at Lin Mo a little confused. She could understand those magical things and was used to them. But this ninja forehead protector suddenly made her feel an unfamiliar feeling. Goblin hand bone. The hand bone comes from a certain goblin. The bones leave a strange goblin smell. They can be used as materials for forging, making potions, and even making soup. Terra stone, a unique magical ore from the Terra star. It has strong energy, but is not easy to control. You need to be careful during the forging process. Konoha Ninja Forehead Protector. The forehead protector from a Konoha Village ninja can represent the identity of the Konoha ninja, or it can also be used as a trophy. At this time, Lin Mo looked at these 3 things with an increasingly weird expression. He was not surprised that the Terra stone and the goblin hand bone were revealed. What's strange to him is that the forehead protector in Konoha Village can actually be used. Which Konoha ninja does this thing belong to? Will the other party lose this forehead protector? Still, shaking his head, Lin Mo stopped thinking about this. Without waiting for Tiantian's mother to ask, she introduced, I won't say much more about this ninja forehead protector. The other one is a monster's hand bone. Although it can be used as a forging or crafting material, it has a strange smell. Residue. The stone is Terra stone, which contains very strong energy. It is generally used for forging. However, because the energy is very strong, you need to be careful when forging. If you are not careful, it will definitely cause a lot of movement and even injury. But if you forge a weapon, it will definitely have a powerful effect. As Lin Mo started to introduce, Tiantian's mother immediately looked at Terra Stone. In other words, among these three things, the most valuable is this piece of ore. As for the strange smell of hand bones that Lin Mo mentioned, she had already smelled it, and it was really unpleasant. Then can I use this piece of ore to buy Tiantian's gun? Tiantian's mother suddenly thought of something and asked Lin Mo quickly, Tiantian opened that magical gun on your side. If I use this kind of thing to make a gun, can I also make that thing powerful? The effect. Or, making something like bullets. But he knew that the sniper rifle in Tiantian's hand would be gone after the bullets were fired. If you want bullets, you can only get them by opening cans. It can also be forged through research. If this Terra Stone was used to create a similar firearm, it would definitely have an unusual effect. After all, Lin Mo also said that this stone contains powerful energy. Sure, Lin Mo looked strange when he heard what Tiantian's mother said, but he still nodded. Tiantian's mother's mind is spinning very fast. But Terra Stone makes bullets and gun bodies. Can this be built? It is most suitable for making weapons. Lin Mo was thinking this in his mind as he continued, but I also said that the energy in this Terra Stone is very powerful and it is not easy to make. You can study it slowly and don't study it randomly and get injured. That's fine. Not good. Once this thing explodes, the consequences will be disastrous. Yeah, I know. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's mother nodded. She still knows a lot about forging. This will naturally be noticed. At this point, 10 jars have been opened, which makes Tiantian's mother feel satisfied. Come open the jar today, it's really worth it. Mr. Lin Mo, we have opened 10 cans and it's time to go back. The next second, Dad Tiantian smiled and said, let's go back and prepare for the jar. Can. Lin Mo nodded after hearing what Tiantian's father said. Tiantian's family left, and he could just improve his strength. Although the improvement is not big, no matter how small the mosquito legs are, they are still meat. I'm not busy at home. Why don't you stay at Mr. Lin Mo's place every day? Tiantian's mother looked at Tiantian and said with a chuckle, it's impossible for me to cook immediately after I go back. The things in the store are not finished yet. No problem. Hearing what his mother said, Tiantian nodded happily. I just happened to be thinking about chatting with Lin Mo. Immediately, Tiantian's parents left, leaving Tiantian alone. Hey. Seeing that there was no one in the shop, Tiantian looked at Lin Mo and rubbed his hands excitedly. Lin Mo, can you tell me about elves? I am very interested in this, such as it and psychic beasts. What's the difference? Ever since she learned about elves, she was really curious about them. Elf, it's not impossible. Hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo raised his eyebrows and said, there's no one in the store, so it's okay to talk to you. Anyway, it's nothing, there's no need to hide the elf thing, it's just something I casually said. Good. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian rubbed his hands excitedly. Then he listened patiently. Just like the psychic beasts in the ninja world, they live in the world of psychic beasts. When necessary, they can accept the call of the contractor, and they will only help if the contractor meets their own conditions, but the elves will not. Lin Mo slowly said, elves are purer creatures than psychic beasts. As long as they recognize their master, they can use their own lives to protect their master and provide their master with the help they can. Lin Mo talked eloquently about elves, which made his breathing quicken every day. This elf sounds like a helper to humans. Instead of signing a cooperation contract with psychic beasts like the current ninja world. Time passes little by little. Lin Mo briefly talked about the situation of the elves, and then drew a few pictures of the elves, including Pikachu and green caterpillars. Although it has not been colored, I am already attracted by the painted elves. Although he hasn't seen a real elf, Tiantian has decided that he will never contract a psychic beast before he gets an elf. Even if it's a contract, it still needs to be a contract with Tsunade's psychic beast. Although she knows that she currently does not have that qualification. But it doesn't matter, as long as you open the jar here in Lin Mo, you will have a chance to open it. Thinking of this, Tiantian's eyebrows curved into crescent moons. Okay, it's getting late, it's time to eat. Lin Mo looked at the dark sky outside, shook his head and said with a smile, your mother has just opened a chef's experience light group. You can taste it as soon as you go back. Why don't you go back? How about Mr. Lin Mo go back with me? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's eyes brightened slightly, and he quickly said, "My mother's cooking is always delicious." "No, next time." Lin Mo shook his head gently. He let Tiantian leave mainly because he wanted to integrate what he had gained. Then what does Mr. Lin Mo eat? Tenten thought. Is it still Ichiraku ramen? Yeah, Lin Mo nodded. Then I'll do it too. Tiantian chuckled. Mom is at home anyway, so I can eat it anytime. You may not be free every day to eat ramen with Lin Mo, but if you want to eat my mother's cooking, you are free every day. Okay. Lin Mo nodded, immediately closed the door and walked out. Just when he and Tiantian had just walked out of the jar shop, they hadn't walked long. I found that there were actually many people surrounding me on the street. Whether it was a shop or at the door of the house where they live, there were people discussing it in twos and threes, all of them looking anxious, worried, and even angry. Is it true or false? The sealed book was really stolen. Isn't it kept by Hokage-sama? Really? My husband immediately gathered together and ran to seal off the Leaf Village. No entry or exit is allowed in the Leaf Village. I don't know who is so bold as to steal the sealed book. It's not just us. Hokage-sama also summoned the ninjas at Hokage Rock. We must find the thief who stole the sealed book as soon as possible. He said that the thief definitely did not run far away. Many ninjas even left the village. There was a manhunt around. The sealed book is a treasure in a village. It records many ninjutsu. It is said that only ninjas who have made great achievements can obtain ninjutsu from it. This sealed book is usually placed in the room close to the Hokage. How can it be stolen from someone's safekeeping? It should be theft. Don't forget that many Anbu ninjas were carried out and poisoned during the day today. Have you forgotten the search? One after another, Lin Mo's face was very strange. It has only been a short time, and the Book of Seals was thrown out by the third Hokage. The normal plot is not like this. Could it be? Suddenly, Lin Mo looked down at Tiantian beside him. If nothing unexpected happens, Sarutobi Hiruzen should have seized the situation that Danzo's root was knocked down by Toka's soft muscle powder, and quickly arranged everything. It just happened to overlap. Otherwise, if there is a commotion like this later, it will be a bit troublesome. Sarutobi Hiruzen is really courageous. It can be said that Tiantian pushed Sarutobi Hiruzen's actions. The Book of Seals was stolen. Tiantian beside Lin Mo widened his eyes and looked like he saw a ghost. He had heard about this treasure of the ninja village from his teacher, so how could it be stolen? At this moment, on the other side, in a dense forest, Uzumaki Naruto looked at the sealed book spread out in front of him and felt a toothache. Why is there something like a ghost painting at the back, without even a name for the ninjutsu? At least, the first densely written words that caught my eye were the words, multiple shadow clone technique. Below are diagrams of various meridians of the human body, as well as cultivation notes, etc. It is so detailed that anyone who sees it can immediately know where to start. The second one is a technique called 8-Gate Dunjia, which also has half of the content. But after that, there are no words at all. Except for the runes that look like ghostly drawings, there are no diagrams of the meridians of the human body, no cultivation gaze, and no words at all. When Uzumaki Naruto saw this, he still didn't know that the content on this seal scroll was only a little bit on the front, but not on the back. These 3 generations are too stupid. He also thought about memorizing the next ninjutsu first, but in the end, he didn't even have the next ninjutsu. Did I get a fake one? Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head frantically. That's not right. When I took the scroll, I took it out from that room. I met the 3rd generation in the corridor at that time. I took it correctly. So, this scroll itself is fake and not even real. My uncle's plan to make a fortune is just gone. Hey, let's learn the shadow clone technique first. Uzumaki Naruto wailed in his heart, sighed, sat down and began to learn the first ninjutsu honestly. The most urgent thing is to learn ninjutsu first. With this in mind, Uzumaki Naruto looked at the detailed steps and precautions recorded above. The jutsu of multiple shadow clone jutsu is marked as A level, which means that it is extremely difficult and requires a high degree of chakra control and complex sealing steps. Looking at the introduction of this thing, Naruto had a toothache. Even though my heart is hurting, I have to go all out. Uzumaki Naruto read the instructions on the scroll while silently simulating the complicated seal sequences in his mind. Soon, Uzumaki Naruto tried it. He first tried to perform the seal according to the steps recorded on the scroll. Although his fingers seemed a little clumsy at first, his movements gradually became smoother with each attempt. The sequence and gestures of the seal seemed to naturally form a rhythm in his mind, as if these complex movements were not as difficult as he imagined. Naruto frowned slightly, feeling a little surprised. Doesn't this feel like it's not that difficult? Subconsciously, Naruto couldn't help but speed up the practice, becoming more proficient with each seal. He could clearly feel that the speed and power of chakra flowing in his body were also increasing, as if this ninjutsu had some kind of natural fit with his chakra. This made Uzumaki Naruto's eyes suddenly widen. Am I a genius? This thought came to Naruto's mind. After continuing to practice a few times, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly found that he could roughly complete the entire seal formation process. Just as Uzumaki Naruto tried to form the seal to the back, the chakra in his body began to surge violently, flowing rapidly in accordance with the order of the seal. He formed a final seal with his hands, and then suddenly released the chakra. Shadow clone technique. Uzumaki Naruto shouted loudly. A burst of white smoke instantly exploded around him. After the smoke dissipated, Naruto was surprised to see dozens of clones exactly like him standing in front of him. Each clone is lifelike, even their expressions and movements are exactly the same. Hiss. What the hell? Naruto stared at everything in front of him in disbelief, and was so excited that he couldn't express it in words. Did I really do this? How could I learn an A-level ninjutsu so quickly? He looked around, feeling extremely shocked. It was obviously an extremely difficult ninjutsu. How could he master it so quickly? Ha 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 ha. Unable to suppress the ecstasy in his heart, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help laughing. Although I still feel a little incredible, I am more proud and excited. I really learned it. Am I really a genius? Naruto couldn't help but start to wonder if he had some hidden talent that had been awakened. If they knew that I learned it so quickly, they would be surprised. Naruto thought proudly, with a bright smile on his face. Bang bang bang. At this time, the clone turned into white mist and disappeared out of thin air. I seem to understand that when I practice the clone technique, the chakra in my body cannot be controlled at all. If I release it all at once, I cannot make the clone complete. Looking at the shadow clone that disappeared not long after, Naruto Uzumaki pinched his chin and muttered thoughtfully. This A-level ninjutsu suddenly increased the number of clones he could release, and he was currently unable to control these numbers. But each shadow clone is transformed by consuming chakra. When this ninjutsu is activated, the uncontrolled chakra in his body instantly becomes his exact clone, and is distributed evenly. A large amount of chakra is distributed, allowing him to easily create shadow clones and control them simply. A normal ninja would definitely not be able to do this to me. They don't have that much chakra in their bodies. But I'm different. I have the 9 tails sealed in my body, tisk tisk. Does this mean that I can easily learn those advanced ninjutsu in the future? And then conquer the world with one move? Ahahahaha. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto's breathing quickened and he laughed proudly. In addition to being linked to the complexity of the ninjutsu, the level of the ninjutsu is also linked to the amount of chakra. Ordinary ninjas don't have chakra like him. I don't need to practice that low-level ninjutsu in the future. There is also an 8-gate dunjia. Although this thing is incomplete, I can still record it. Then these 2 ninjutsu can be given to the shopkeeper. After all, without Mr. Linmo, I won't know the future situation. I have to reciprocate as a courtesy, Muttering, Uzumaki Naruto looked serious. No matter what, I can give these 2 ninjutsu to Linmo myself. If you can build a good relationship with Linmo, you might be able to get him some good stuff in the future. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto smiled brightly. Let's continue taking a look at this 8-gate dunjia. While muttering, Uzumaki Naruto quickly knelt down and looked. It's indeed incomplete, the back is completely gone. After a while, Uzumaki Naruto's face turned dark. The 3rd Hokage is an old thief. But he can still record simple things. Well, haven't you come yet? After a brief look, Uzumaki Naruto found that Iruka-sensei and Mizuki-sensei were not there yet. I was still thinking of waiting for Mr. Iruka to come over and giving him the sealing value technique directly. Forget it. They were able to come here, probably because of the third generation. Did Iruka-sensei get hurt in front of me? Thinking of the contents of the comics he was reading, Uzumaki Naruto pondered for a moment. Having read the comics several times, he knew the plot very well. Forget it, while they are looking for me, I will secretly use the transformation technique to go back, put the ninjutsu scroll back, and then go back and copy the multiple shadow clone technique. Otherwise, when Mr. Iruka comes over, Mr. Iruka will definitely be injured. I am doing this for Mr. Mizuki's sake. Hey, they didn't expect me to go back. Uzumaki Naruto murmured as he smiled excitedly, looking just like a fox who had successfully stolen a chicken. Without any hesitation, Uzumaki Naruto decisively used the transformation technique and directly transformed into Iruka. Then he ran all the way towards the Hokage building. Sure enough, everyone is looking for me, and many people have gone to set up defenses outside the village. Not even ninjas to guard you. Uzumaki Naruto soon arrived at the Hokage building. Looking at the empty building, he ran decisively along the path he had taken before without any hesitation. He quickly returned to the place where he had obtained the sealed book. After putting the sealed book back, Uzumaki Naruto turned around and closed the door and left. After leaving the Hokage building, he whistled and walked towards his home. Go back and write down the shadow clone technique silently, and find an opportunity to send it to Mr. Linmo tomorrow. And at this moment, Hokage building. In the Hokage's office. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the figure of Naruto walking out of the Hokage building displayed on the crystal ball in front of him, and fell into deep thought. A long time passed before Hiruzen Sarutobi moved the crystal ball twitchingly at the corner of his mouth. The picture suddenly changed and a forest appeared. Iruka and Mizuki walked in one after the other. If Naruto Uzumaki were here, he would definitely see that it was the place where he practiced the art of multiple shadow clones before. Strange. Sarutobi Hiruzen took several puffs of cigarette in confusion, with a puzzled look on his face. Why is this boy Naruto back? The show has begun, and the protagonist deviates from his originally set route. Hokage-sama. At this time, an Anbu appeared out of thin air in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen and whispered, Naruto Uzumaki is back, and he also put back the sealed book, do you think? As Anbu ninjas stationed at the Hokage building, they also knew Sarutobi Hiruzen's actions today. So everyone cooperated and left the Hokage building. They have all been arranged on the other side of the forest, driving Mizuki and Iruka into the forest. As a result, the person involved came back. He also returned the stolen seal scroll, which silenced them as well. How to do this? Order people to evacuate. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a long time. He rubbed his eyebrows with a headache and said, the news was released in the middle of the night. The sealed book has been recovered and all hands have been withdrawn. On Mizuki's side, continue to send 2 more people to keep an eye on him and report intelligence at any time every day. We won't leave him alone for the time being. As for Iruka, forget it, I won't notify him for the time being. Yes. Upon hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the Anbu ninja nodded immediately and stepped away. How so? Watching the Anbu ninja leave, Hiruzen Sarutobi smoked in confusion. It shouldn't be. How could this be? Naruto's behavior seemed wrong, but it also seemed right, and there was a strange feeling that he couldn't put his finger on. What a hell? When Hiruzen Sarutobi was smoking a cigarette in silence. The other side, Ichiraku Ramen Shop. Shoda looked at Linmo who was eating noodles and said with a smile, Linmo, you are temporarily living in Konoha, what are your plans? The last time I communicated with Linmo, I knew Linmo's general situation. He is not from Konoha Village, he only comes to Konoha to stay temporarily. In the past few days, he had been eating ramen at his place, treating his ramen restaurant as a dining hall. He also chatted with Linmo and became slightly acquainted with her. So we had a brief chat. I opened a small shop and visited Konoha during normal times. Hearing Shandai's words, Linmo smiled lightly and said, as for the plan, let's open the store temporarily. If he wants to become stronger, he can only do so by selling cans. The current plan is to sell more cans. A shop owner. Hearing Linmo's words, Shoda immediately became interested. What kind of store does it open? If I'm free, I'll go over and support you. This young man actually owns a shop. Being able to come to Konoha Village temporarily as an outsider and open a shop means that he is not only rich, but his status is definitely not that of an ordinary person. Lin Mo didn't look like a businessman. Could he be a kid from a rich family? But how can a kid from a rich family open a store? Generally, you need to hire people to open a store. A small can shop. Lin Mo chuckled. Sell some cans. Selling jars. Hearing Lin Mo's words, a chorus, who had just finished cleaning up, came over with interest and said, speaking of which, we also need to buy some jars for our ramen shop. Next time we have a chance, we will go to Lin Mo's shop, purchase. Well, this. Lin Mo looked strange when he heard what Calamus said. The jars he sells have to be smashed open to reveal the contents. That thing can't hold anything. Next to him, Tiantian, who was sitting next to Lin Mo, looked interested and snickered slightly in his heart. I'm afraid Sister Chengpu wouldn't have thought that the price of jars in Lin Mo's jar shop would be 100,000 taels. You will definitely be surprised when you find out. Well, that's settled. And a chorus smiled and continued. Today's meal of ramen is considered as my treat, and you don't have to pay. Ah, how is this possible? After hearing what Chongpu said, Tiantian quickly said, Sister Chongpu, there's no need to be so polite. No need to refuse. Calamus stretched out his finger and shook it. I am exempting Lin Mo from paying the fee. You are just here every day. If you really want to pay, it's not impossible. Saying that, Calamus smiled brightly at Lin Mo. Deep in his eyes, there was even a hint of shyness. In her opinion, Lin Mo is really good looking. Well, okay. After hearing what Calamus said, Tiantian scratched his head. It turns out that I was just incidentally. When Lin Mo heard what a chorus said and looked at a picture of a chorus that cannot be refused, he immediately nodded and accepted a chorus's kindness. Thank you then. He is not short of the money for a bowl of ramen, and a chorus is not short of the money for this bowl of ramen. So he accepted Calamus's generosity calmly. Seeing Lin Mo accept, Chongpu's smile suddenly brightened, and his eyebrows curved into crescents. At this time, Lin Mo also looked at the Calamus with the help of the light, and sighed in his heart that the Calamus was quite beautiful. This thin figure is very beautiful. Moreover, wearing a chef's uniform makes it even more unique. I'm afraid it would look better if she changed into blue cook clothes. Beside him, Shoda looked at this scene and smiled without saying a word. He didn't care too much about what his daughter Chongpu said. As Chongpu's father, he almost immediately judged that his daughter was attracted by Lin Mo's appearance, so he took the initiative to befriend her. Although he had only met Lin Mo for a few days, he could see that Lin Mo had a very peaceful personality. But he knew so little about Lin Mo that he could just make friends and have a chat. Seeing that Lin Mo was not wearing a ninja forehead protector, he must not be a ninja. After all, for ninjas, ninja forehead protectors are a status symbol, and few people would not wear them. Immediately, Lin Mo briefly chatted with a chorus, said goodbye to his hand, and walked out of the Ichiraku ramen shop with Tenten. Night had already fallen, and the sky was shrouded in deep black. However, a bright moon hung high in the sky, casting a cold silver glow, as if it had covered the quiet street with a veil. The moonlight was like water, gently flowing on the figures of Lin Mo and Tiantian. The breeze blew by, and it seemed that the moonlight could be heard whispering. Lin Mo looked up at the bright moon, squinting his eyes and feeling filled with emotion. This kind of translucent moonlit night was almost an unavailable luxury in his memory of his previous life. I won't send it to you. Withdrawing his gaze from the moon, Lin Mo looked at Tiantian and said with a smile, are you going back by yourself, or are you going to sit over at my place? I don't have much business there at night, so sitting around might be a bit boring. Is Mr. Lin Mo free? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian squinted his eyes. Would you like to go for a walk together? Let's digest it after dinner. It's not impossible. Lin Mo nodded after hearing Tiantian's words. He came to Konoha Village, but he hadn't taken a good tour of Konoha yet. Good. Seeing that Lin Mo agreed, Tiantian smiled brightly and took the initiative to lead the way for Lin Mo. As the two walked around Konoha, they found that the original tense atmosphere in the village streets had gradually disappeared. There were even fewer ninjas patrolling, which surprised Lin Mo. Have they all gathered over there in the forest? I really didn't expect that two major events would happen one after another today. Tiantian complained speechlessly as he walked. I heard my teacher say that the Book of Sealing is the most precious treasure of a ninja village. Even a Jonin cannot read the Book of Sealing without making contributions. It contains many important things. Ninjutsu is a precious asset of a ninja village. How could this thing be stolen? She thought about this matter all the way but still couldn't understand it. Yeah, it's a pity that many people can't figure it out. Lin Mo nodded. But what if it was intentional? Ah. Tiantian was stunned when she heard Lin Mo's words. Intentional. Why? But thinking of what she had experienced before and what Lin Mo said, Tiantian suddenly fell silent. There must be some calculations that she didn't know about. Konoha Village is not what she imagined in school. While thinking about this, she continued to walk with Lin Mo. Finally, Tiantian sent Lin Mo all the way to the jar shop, then said goodbye to Lin Mo and turned away. The first thing Lin Mo did when he returned to the store was to make the things that Tiantian's parents had opened before appear in suspension. The first thing to be fused was the chakra of the Chunin level, which could save him the steps of training. Comfortable. After fusing the chakra of the Chunin level, Lin Mo sighed in his heart. Compared to refining by himself, this direct fusion of chakra is so easy. Now he has more than twice the chakra of the Chunin level in his body. Becoming stronger is so simple. Thinking so, Lin Mo looked at the 2 experience light balls again. Experience of 1000 push-ups and experience of 1000 kilometers of running. These 2 experience light balls are also good for him. So Lin Mo decisively touched and fused with both hands, and for a moment Lin Mo clearly felt that he had been trained. When Lin Mo was fusing and feeling the training. On the other side. Tiantian's ninja tool shop. Tiantian, who came back, looked at the closed door and was immediately surprised. It's closed now. She hasn't come back yet. Immediately, Tiantian opened the door and walked in. It's Tiantian. When Tiantian just opened the door and walked into the ninja tool shop, Tiantian's mother quickly came out from the house behind and said with a smile, "You're back just in time. I made some midnight snacks and it's just right for you to come back and eat them." While speaking, Tiantian's mother reached out and wiped the sweat from her forehead. Mom, why are you sweating? Hearing her mother's words, Tiantian scratched her head. And your face is so red. She saw that her mother's skin was all red and sweaty, as if she had gone through some exercise. Because I have integrated my cooking experience, I have some interest and I have cooked a lot of dishes. Tiantian's mother smiled and said, "Just take a break. The food is still warm. It's good that you are back. I thought you had eaten outside so late." Hee, I had a bowl of ramen. Tiantian scratched his head and laughed. "I went shopping with Lin Mo by the way. I'm not hungry now, but you cooked, so I'll eat something too. Let me taste your cooking skills." Okay. Hearing this, Tiantian's mother immediately came into the house and brought a few dishes. Tiantian smelled it and felt it was so fragrant, so he tasted it immediately. Pipe. It's delicious. After taking a bite, Tiantian's eyes lit up. It's better than the dishes you cooked before. This experience light ball is incredible. She knew her mother's cooking skills very well. Now the taste is even better, and she can taste it instantly. And her mother is just a chef's experience light ball. Yeah. After hearing Tiantian's words, a hearty laugh rang out. The experience light group on the owner's side is incredible. I have to thank Mr. Lin Mo. As Tiantian's father laughed, he came out refreshed and praised Lin Mo's experience light group. Hee, that's right. After hearing his father's words, Tiantian squinted his eyes and said, "Actually, I can cook. After all, I have also opened cooking experience. I originally wanted to show off my skills, but since you are here, I won't show off. So Tiantian, when you are free, you should go to the owner more often." Tiantian's father smiled and said, "Anyway, you don't have any tasks recently." "Well, I currently only have a teaching assistant task at school, but graduation is approaching, and my task is almost completed, so I can go to hand over the task." Tiantian thought. After handing over the task, as long as the teacher does not call, I can relax, and then it's training. I can train in the backyard of Mr. Lin Mo. I appeared in the school before, just to accept the relevant teaching assistant task. That kind of task is a benefit for her. And she doesn't have to go to school every day. Even if she goes, she only gives simple instructions, which is very relaxing and can earn money. Well, not bad. Hearing Tiantian's words, Tiantian's parents nodded. Then, after Tiantian finished eating, they simply cleaned up and closed the store completely. Until the next morning, when Tiantian woke up and got up from the bed, she could already hear the noise coming from outside the store. Tiantian quickly got dressed and walked to the front of the store, and found that her parents had already been busy. There were neat shelves at the door of the store, with cans neatly arranged on them. The surface of the cans shone in the morning light, attracting the attention of many passers-by. Next to the shelf stood a carefully made notice board with neat fonts and clear content, which was obviously specially prepared for this event. In order to give back to customers, our store has launched a special customer promotion. You only need 100 taels of silver to smash a jar. The jar contains various ninja tools, detonating talismans, shurikens, etc. Activity time: 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. The quantity is limited and first come first served. Special reminder: each person is limited to 3 jars per day. Don't miss the opportunity. Looking at the content on the notice board, Tiantian raised his eyebrows. I didn't expect that my parents would act so quickly. Early in the morning, it has attracted some curious ninjas and civilians. What kind of sales method is this? This is the first time I have seen it. It's quite fresh. Interesting, 100 taels at a time. If you get a detonating talisman, you will make money. You know, a detonating talisman costs thousands of taels. Tiantian's ninja tool store actually sells it this way. It's very interesting. When my child graduates and passes the test, I can bring him over to open 2 jars. At this time, as some people were talking, Tiantian's parents also smiled and greeted the guests who came forward. The store owner's sales method is really good. Witnessing this scene, Tiantian once again affirmed Lin Mo in his heart. This marketing method is indeed very popular. It was so lively early in the morning. If you wait until evening, it will be even more popular. Especially since students from the ninja school are taking exams these 2 days, her family can make a fortune again. Go to Lin Mo's backyard to train. By the way, let me tell Lin Mo this exciting good news. Tiantian thought this while walking towards Lin Mo's jar shop. The other side, the gate of ninja school. Uruka directly grabbed the arriving Naruto and said through gritted teeth, "Naruto, I heard last night that you stole the book of seals in the village. Is it true?" He wanted to find Naruto last night, but he couldn't find it after searching around, so he had no choice but to give up. What followed was the evacuation of a group of ninjas. It seemed that the sealed book had been found, which gave him a sense of absurdity. Now that he saw Uzumaki Naruto in the morning, he felt that he needed to question Uzumaki Naruto. Ah, yes. Hearing Uruka's words, Naruto scratched his head and said, "There is nothing to hide." Uruka. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Uruka's hair turned black, and he gritted his teeth and growled in a low voice, "You idiot, do you know what you are doing? You actually stole such a thing. I'm here to pass the exam." Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head and said, "Ms. Mizuki told me that if I want to pass the graduation exam, I just need to get the Book of Sealings. Then I got it and found that everyone was looking for me, so I put the Book of Sealings back." Quote. Uruka, when did Mizuki tell you? Uruka's expression changed drastically, and he was shocked and angry. It's actually Mizuki. He wondered why Uzumaki Naruto had heard the name of the sealed book. Only senior ninjas know about the Book of Sealing. How could a student who was not even a ninja, not even a disciple of a big family know about the Book of Sealing? The most important thing is that the sealed book is either stored in a secret place in Konoha or in the Hokage's home. It is impossible for anyone to steal it, and no one can do it. That is the most precious treasure of a ninja village. How could it be without defensive power? So when he heard Mizuki say yesterday that Uzumaki Naruto had stolen the sealed book, he couldn't believe it at the first moment. How did Uzumaki Naruto know the location? Even if you knew the location, how did you steal it? This is full of doubts. But before he could think about it, he was told to investigate immediately, and even the teachers of their ninja school were notified. Logically speaking, these matters are completely left to the Anbu in the village. Asking their teacher responsible for teaching to find someone seems a bit like making a mountain out of a molehill. It's just that these confusions couldn't be explained at all yesterday, and the importance of the sealed book made him subconsciously ignore it. Until late at night, he even wanted to stay at Naruto Uzumaki's house, but he was stunned when he heard that the sealed book had been found and a group of ninjas had evacuated. When I went to Naruto's house, I found that Naruto was not at home yet, so I went back first. This morning, he waited and waited for Naruto, but the news he got from Naruto was beyond his expectation. Just yesterday, Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head. I separated from you after eating ramen yesterday, but Iruka-sensei, I have learned the shadow clone technique. As he said this, Uzumaki Naruto was eager to give it a try and rubbed his hands excitedly. I can show it to you at any time. Are you ready with the money you promised to lend me? Iruka, you and I are going to find Mizuki now. Iruka rubbed his eyebrows and decisively pulled Uzumaki Naruto straight to Mizuki's office. He really didn't expect that Uzumaki Naruto went to steal the sealed book and actually found out about it from Mizuki. It's Iruka-sensei. When Iruka brought Uzumaki Naruto to Mizuki's office, Mizuki saw Uzumaki Naruto's pupils shrink suddenly, and then smiled and said, "Didn't you preside over today's student graduation exam? Why are you here?" "Mizuki, Naruto said you could graduate if you told him to steal the sealed book." Iruka went straight to the point and said coldly, "Is there such a thing? I never said that." Hearing Iruka's words, Mizuki looked shocked and said, "I informed you yesterday that Uzumaki Naruto stole the sealed book because I summoned you, not just you. As for stealing the sealed book, I didn't know about it at all." Said. "Impossible." Hearing Mizuki's words, Uzumaki Naruto hurriedly said, "That's what you told me yesterday, otherwise I wouldn't know where the sealed book is. You said that if you steal the sealed book, you can graduate." "I really never said that." Mizuki shook his head and smiled bitterly. "I went to the ninja shop yesterday and I never saw you at all. I suspect that someone used a transformation technique to pretend to be me and deceived you. Otherwise, I would have been taken away by Anbu for investigation instead of talking to you here now. The sealed book is a secret in the village. Not even me, not even a Junin can steal it, let alone a student who is not even a ninja." Is that so?" Naruto Uzumaki was shocked when he heard what Mizuki said. He was shocked that Mizuki was lying so openly. But it seemed to make sense. Iruka also frowned and fell into deep thought. Yes. If it was really Mizuki who ordered Naruto, he would have been taken away by the Anbu ninja for investigation. That's the Book of Seals. If it was really what Mizuki said, then it would be normal for the Anbu not to take Mizuki away. Thinking of this, Iruka looked at Mizuki with an apologetic face and apologized, "Sorry, I misunderstood Mr. Mizuki. There will be an exam later, and Mr. Mizuki will need you to speed up with me, because after the exam, we need to register information and take photos." "Yes." Hearing Iruka's words, Mizuki nodded. "You go to gather people first, I'll be there in a while." "Let's go, Naruto." Iruka immediately took Uzumaki Naruto away, and Uzumaki Naruto wanted to say something, but was dragged away directly. "What's going on?" And Mizuki frowned as he looked at Mizuki and Uzumaki Naruto leaving. What happened last night also deviated from his steps. He did say that he wanted to use Uzumaki Naruto to steal the seal scroll, and then leave with the seal scroll. As a result, after entering the forest, Uzumaki Naruto disappeared. I looked around but couldn't find him. I even went to Naruto's house but couldn't find him. Uzumaki Naruto didn't wait for him at the agreed place. When he wanted to find him again, he heard that the Book of Seals had been found. For a moment, he was extremely nervous. Because he had ordered Naruto to steal the Book of Seals, if this matter was investigated by the Anbu, then he would definitely be taken away for investigation. But he was frightened all night, and the Anbu didn't come at all, as if nothing had happened. Mizuki himself suspected that someone had pretended to be him and went to order Uzumaki Naruto. So in the face of Iruka's questioning, he made up a reason. It had been a night, and the Anbu didn't come, which meant that the things he ordered Naruto could be completely shirked by other people. This also made him feel relieved. But he was still a little nervous, fearing that the Anbu might come again. So he had to talk to Uzumaki Naruto, making it clear that it was not him who ordered Uzumaki Naruto. As long as Uzumaki Naruto made such a guess, he could also shirk it if the Anbu came later. Thinking of this, Shuimu narrowed his eyes. Perfect. But this idiot actually returned the Book of Seals. The next second, Shuimu cursed again in a low voice. If he had obtained the Book of Seals yesterday, he would have left Konoha long ago. Then, as the voice sounded, Shwimu went to the classroom. In the classroom, a group of students were ready, lined up in front of Iruka in an orderly manner, ready to perform the three-body technique, let Iruka score, and issue ninja forehead protection if they passed. After Shwimu came, he was called by Iruka to sit down and presided over the students' exams. As one student after another performed the transformation technique and the clone technique, Iruka and Shwimu scored, and most of them graduated. When it was Uzumaki Naruto's turn, Uzumaki Naruto proudly made a seal, and suddenly a bang 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 sound rang out, and more than a dozen identical Uzumaki Naruto appeared out of thin air. Hiss. Whether students had taken the test or were waiting for the test, their eyes widened when they saw this scene. When did this last place student become so powerful? Why can his ninjutsu create more than a dozen clones? Does he have so much chakra? Isn't he the last place student? By the way, can the clone jutsu create so many clones? This is an afterimage. One student after another was shocked. Uzumaki Naruto's reputation as a last place student is real, but now in the graduation exam, he has directly shown more than a dozen clones. This is not only a requirement for proficiency in ninjutsu, but also a requirement for chakra. The most important thing is that the clone jutsu can only create a few clones at most. A group of students were stunned. Not only the students were stunned, but Iruka was also stunned. It's only been a day. How did Naruto master the clone jutsu so skillfully? He couldn't even do this clone jutsu. The credit of the Book of Sealing. It's definitely a ninjutsu from the Book of Seals. The smiling Mizuki was furious as he watched this scene. It must be a ninjutsu from the Book of Seals that can do this. If Uzumaki Naruto had given him the scroll yesterday, he would have been able to learn this ninjutsu. This last place guy has been hiding his abilities. Uchiha Sasuke looked at Naruto's movements and his eyes narrowed suddenly. Uzumaki Naruto's clone technique instantly made him feel threatened. Because even he couldn't create so many clones. This last place guy actually hid so deeply. Hee. Looking at the shock of the people around him, Uzumaki Naruto was extremely proud. If he hadn't gotten the Naruto comics from the store owner, he wouldn't have been able to easily attract people's attention, and it wasn't discussed. For a moment, Uzumaki Naruto was even more grateful to Lin Mo. If it were the original situation, he would have mastered the multiple shadow clone technique, but not so many people would have seen it. But now, it's different. Qualified. Iruka quickly scored and issued a ninja forehead protector to Uzumaki Naruto. Well, Iruka-sensei, money. Uzumaki Naruto did not take it, but rubbed his hands excitedly and looked at Iruka. Ninja forehead protector is not important at all, money is the most important thing. As long as you have money, you can go to the shopkeeper to open a can. Then become stronger. I know. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Iruka's face darkened. I'll wait. I want it now. Uzumaki Naruto puffed up his face. I'm afraid you will forget. Iruka, Teacher Mizuki, please take responsibility first. Iruka said hello to Mizuki and left with Uzumaki Naruto. When he came to his office, he opened the drawer and took out the money that he had prepared. He handed it to Uzumaki Naruto with a speechless face. Why are you so anxious to get money? Don't worry, I have already prepared it for you. Even if Naruto Uzumaki fails the test, he will lend it to Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto took it and turned around eagerly to leave. Then Iruka-sensei, I'll leave first. Now that you have the money, it's time to open the jar. Come back, idiot. Seeing Naruto leaving immediately, Iruka's face turned green. You don't want to take photos anymore. You have to be divided into different classes. I'm just going out for a while and I'll be back soon. Uzumaki Naruto waved his hand. Don't worry, Iruka-sensei, I'll be back soon. It's perfectly late to return after opening the jar yourself. Iruka. Although he didn't understand why Uzumaki Naruto was so impatient to leave, Iruka was still speechless and couldn't say anything. But Iruka did not call out to Uzumaki Naruto again, but returned to the classroom and continued to preside over the exam. Anyway, Uzumaki Naruto will come back soon, he believes in Naruto. Open the can, open the can. I don't know if the shop owner has opened the door. At this time, Uzumaki Naruto rubbed his hands with excitement and hurriedly left the school and went straight to the can shop. He also touched the scroll in his arms. He believed that the shop owner would like this gift. After all, this was transcribed silently by myself. Congratulations on successfully signing in and getting 200 ordinary jars. Jar shop, 2nd floor. When Lin Mo woke up refreshed, he saw the jar he got after signing in today. Another 200 jars. Looking at the jar, Lin Mo squinted his eyes. There are a lot of cans now, but the number of people opening them has not increased, which makes Lin Mo very sad. After all, there are few people to open the can, so he has no way to become stronger, which is a headache. Shaking his head, Lin Mo stopped thinking about it and got up and went downstairs. After placing the jar, he can refine the chakra and practice the sea-level ninjutsu scroll that Tenten's dad opened yesterday. For him, the wind release ninjutsu can enhance his strength and he can practice it in his free time. No matter how small the mosquito legs are, they are still meat. While thinking this, Lin Mo opened the door. Lin Mo. Just as Lin Mo opened the door, someone on the street outside heard the sound of the door opening and immediately looked back subconsciously. When he saw it was Lin Mo, he was immediately shocked and said, "What a coincidence." The one who spoke was clearly speaking with his hands. He was also holding a large bag of flour in his hand, and seemed to be going to buy raw materials. "Good morning." Seeing the hand fight, Lin Mo nodded with a smile and said good morning. "Haha, I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence. Good morning." Shandai smiled heartily and said, "I didn't ask you where your store was last night. I didn't expect to see you getting up so early this morning." As he spoke, he looked around the inside of the jar shop. Even standing outside, you can see many jars placed on the counter inside. As Lin Mo said, Lin Mo sells cans. Last night, when he heard Lin Mo talk about opening a can shop, before he asked in detail where the shop was, his daughter Changpu asked first, so he looked at it with a smile. "Unexpectedly, I encountered it this morning. Well, just in time, I went out to stock up and bought 2 jars and went back to fill them with flour." As Shoda said this, he walked naturally towards Lin Mo's jar shop. Lin Mo looked strange when he saw Shandai walking in. Shoda is treating his shop as an ordinary can shop. "Wow, shopkeeper, you really opened the door." Just when Lin Mo walked in, an excited voice sounded. I saw Uzumaki Naruto running over quickly from a distance, his face full of excitement. Sure enough, the shop owner opened the door, and he didn't run away in vain. "Yo, Naruto." As soon as he walked into the jar shop, he saw Uzumaki Naruto arriving and was immediately surprised. "Do you know Lin Mo too? It seems that your relationship is not bad." But he knew that Lin Mo had said that he had only been in Konoha for a few days. How could he actually get to know Uzumaki Naruto? "Ah, it's my hand-beating uncle." Uzumaki Naruto, who ran in, also saw the hand fight and suddenly looked surprised. "Uncle, you were here this morning. Did you come to the shop owner to open a can?" Uzumaki Naruto also didn't expect that Uncle Handbeater would actually come to Lin Mo. "Must be here to open the can." "Open the can." Tate was a little confused by Uzumaki Naruto's words, but still nodded and said, "I'm here to buy a can." "That's just opening a can." Naruto Uzumaki scratched his head and said, "But I see you haven't opened the can, Uncle Handai, so I'll open it first. I'm in a hurry to go back to school." With that said, Uzumaki Naruto immediately handed the money Iruka lent him to Lin Mo and said quickly, "Shopkeeper, let me open a jar. There are 100,000 taels in it." Lin Mo took Naruto Uzumaki's money, nodded and said, "Take your pick." Hand slap. Hand slap. Seeing this scene, Shandai's eyes suddenly widened. What the hell, 100,000 taels per jar? Real or fake? What kind of jar is Lin Mo selling? Is it worth 100,000 taels? Antique. So why does Naruto buy antiques? There was a question mark on his face as he hit his head with his hand. While his hands were dazed, Uzumaki Naruto laughed and said, "Shopkeeper, I will give you another gift, I guarantee you will like it." After saying that, he immediately took out a scroll from his clothes and threw it to Lin Mo. Lin Mo looked strange when he saw the scroll thrown by Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto can still bring him a gift. This scroll doesn't look like a seal scroll either. "Ah, Is it so lively this early in the morning? Another surprised voice sounded, instantly attracting the attention of Uzumaki Naruto and Tate. I saw Tiantian coming jumping up and down. Tenten was surprised when he saw Tate and Uzumaki Naruto. Day by day, looking at Tiantian who came in again, he raised his eyebrows. Why do you run to Linmo so early in the morning every day? Are you looking for Linmo to sell cans? Still, Shoda suddenly remembered that Linmo had been eating ramen with Tiantian for the past 2 days, and Tiantian had been by Linmo's side. Shopkeeper, I want that. Uzumaki Naruto pointed to a jar in front of him and said quickly, that's it. Seeing this, Linmo immediately waved. The jar pointed by Uzumaki Naruto flew out silently and landed in front of Uzumaki Naruto. Seeing this scene, Hand was shocked. Linmo is a ninja. No, there was no forehead protector bound to Linmo's head. This boy. Tiantian looked at this scene with a surprised look on his face. It was Naruto Uzumaki who opened the can. Where did the money come from? But Uzumaki Naruto didn't know how to do it. He looked at the jar in front of him and smashed it open decisively. Bang! A fiery red egg fell. Forehead. Seeing this thing, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes widened. A fiery red egg. Charmander egg, a pet egg from a certain world. The hatched pet will have a ball of fire on its tail. The flame on its tail can express its emotions. When it is happy, the flames flicker. If it is provoked, the fire will burn violently. When they are born, there is fire burning in their tails. When the fire in its tail goes out, its life is over. Looking at this pet egg, Linmo looked surprised. Can you even drive this thing? Shopkeeper, what kind of egg is this? It's so big. Uzumaki Naruto looked at the red egg and looked at Linmo with a troubled expression. You only have 100,000 tails to get an egg. Next to him, Shoda looked on in confusion. This egg is much bigger than the jar. How did you put it in? So this is the jar that Uzumaki Naruto bought. Spend 100,000 tails, smash open a jar, and get something from it. This is a fire dragon egg that can hatch into a small fire dragon. When Linmo heard Uzumaki Naruto's words, he immediately smiled and said, when you hatch and become a pet, the flames on the tail of the fire dragon will change with the pet's mood. When it is happy, the flames will sway, and when it is angry, the flames will become fierce. Once the flame on the tail goes out, it means the end of life. It has 3 stages of growth. It's up to you to cultivate it later. Quote, Fire Dragon. Upon hearing Linmo's words, Uzumaki Naruto immediately scratched his head and asked in confusion, what is that? He didn't understand Linmo's words. You can understand it as a psychic beast. Linmo chuckled and said, this is a kind of elf that can accompany you as you grow up. Once you are born, you will be its master. It can feel your joys and sorrows and is a good helper. It can also have strong attack power, such as breathing fire and so on. A companion elf. Upon hearing Linmo's words, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly became short of breath. This elf sounds very good. For a moment, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't put it down and hugged this elf egg. At this moment, he was really looking forward to this elf. No. Next to him, Tenten, who was watching this scene, stared at Uzumaki Naruto in shock. Is this kid so lucky? An elf actually appeared. You know, last night she got information about elves from inside, and she was looking forward to it. I hope I can find this kind of elf when I open a jar in the future. In the blink of an eye, someone opened it. For a time, Tiantian's eyes were a little red. Hey, shopkeeper, I'll leave first. Uzumaki Naruto put the egg in his backpack and said with a smile, I will come back to you after it hatches, or when I have money. With that said, Uzumaki Naruto excitedly hugged his backpack and left. This time he opened the can and found an elf like his partner, and he made a profit. Now he just needs to wait for this egg to hatch, and then he will have a pet. Just thinking about it makes him excited. Forehead. Watching Uzumaki Naruto leave, Shandai, who had been watching, hesitated and said, Linmo, the jar you have here is 100,000 taels. That's 100,000 taels. Yes. Before Linmo could speak, Tiantian laughed and said, the reason why it is so expensive is that there are good things in it, beyond your imagination. I will tell you in a while, but you won't believe it, so why not open a jar yourself? You can understand that there is everything in this jar. 100,000 taels bet once. The hand-beating uncle is already here, so you might consider opening one. Hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo turned around and glanced at Tiantian in surprise. Tiantian actually helped him explain, which was beyond his expectation. Then there is no need for him to say anything. This price makes me a little confused, but since this kid Naruto is so happy opening the can at your place, let me get one too. Shoda hesitated for a long time, and then decided to speak out with some pain. Originally, he didn't want to buy it. 100,000 taels per jar was too exaggerated. But Uzumaki Naruto opened a jar for money in front of him, opened a spirit similar to a psychic beast, and left with a smile, which made him hesitate. Even Uzumaki Naruto opened the jar like this and found it worthwhile. This jar was definitely unusual. And thinking about his daughter's fondness for Lin Mo, Shoda felt that he might as well give it a try. Just try it out. 100,000 taels for a jar was not a small amount of money for him. But it's not a huge sum of money. With this in mind, Shoda took out his money bag, handed it to Lin Mo 100,000 taels, and then began to pick. No matter what, he recognized whatever the jar contained. Just think of making friends with Lin Mo. What's wrong with paying some money first to find a way for your daughter? No problem. Thinking of this, I tried my best to calm down my mood. Then I quickly picked out a jar by hand. I saw with my own eyes that Lin Mo waved his hand and the jar he selected flew steadily in front of him, which made his hands tremble with emotion. Lin Mo must be no ordinary person. Let me see what's in this 100,000 tael jar. Looking at the jar in front of him, he took a deep breath and smashed it open decisively. Bang! The can shattered and a piece of paper fell. Hand slap. Hand slap. I spent 100,000 taels and got a piece of paper. His face turned green when he slapped his hands. Although he said that he had made a plan to make 100,000 taels worthless. But buying a piece of paper for 100,000 taels is too extravagant. This is no longer a luxury. Forehead. Next to him, Tiantian felt a little embarrassed when he saw this scene and stuck out his tongue. It was really beyond her expectation that the hand-beating uncle's luck would be so bad. That being said, I also have a certain amount of responsibility. Lin Mo looked at the paper he opened and raised his eyebrows. I didn't expect that a hand beater would actually produce such a thing. Snail noodle recipe. A note from the mysterious world records the secret recipe for making snail noodles. The note is filled with complicated steps and unique seasoning combinations. The snail noodles produced according to this recipe will have a unique spicy and sour aroma that is unforgettable. However, the strong smell emitted during the preparation process may attract some curious eyes and even some unexpected diners. Looking at the introduction of this thing, Lin Mo pinched his chin and fell into deep thought. Snail noodles. This thing. This is a gourmet recipe. Looking at the hand with a slightly green complexion, Lin Mo chuckled and said, "You are quite lucky. You only need to follow this recipe and you will be able to make a delicious dish." Speaking of this, Lin Mo pinched his chin and fell into deep thought. In the world of Naruto, are there snail noodles? Probably not. Gourmet recipe. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Shandai's expression became even more tangled. Aren't things like gourmet recipes passed down from our ancestors? In addition to word of mouth, you also need to be taught and practiced by others. Only after you become proficient can you become familiar with it. How can you make delicious food just by recording things on a piece of paper? But the money was spent, and I had nothing to regret. Just think, it's for my daughter. Thinking of this, he took a long breath, picked up the paper, sighed, said goodbye to Lin Mo, and left. I feel a little bad about hitting uncle with my hands. Seeing Shoda leave like this, Tian looked a little hesitant. I'm not finished yet. Lin Mo rubbed his eyebrows and said, "Have you ever heard of snail noodles?" Just when he was about to say something, he slapped his hands and left. Snail noodles. What is that? After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian looked up in confusion. That doesn't seem to be the case. Seeing Tiantian's confusion, Lin Mo raised his eyebrows and chuckled. Maybe it won't be long before you can taste a delicious dish, provided you like it. Is it the delicacy called snail noodles that Uncle Shuda just opened? After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian scratched his head and spoke. Lin Mo nodded. then looked at Tiantian and said in surprise, "Are you very free? He actually runs to me every day, doesn't he need to do a mission?" "Fine." Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian smiled and said, "My school teaching assistant task has ended. As long as the teacher doesn't call me, I am free and don't need to go out on tasks, so I can control my own time now. Usually, I maintain my ninja tools at home, or practice ninjutsu, hidden weapon techniques and physical skills. The things you prescribed at Lin Mo's place have made my physical skills and physical fitness much stronger, far beyond my training in the past year. So during this time, I have been refining chakra, thinking about refining chakra here with you, or training it. Let's see who comes to open the jar and find something good." While talking, Tiantian looked at Lin Mo with some anxiety. Lin Mo wouldn't drive him away. "I see." Lin Mo understood. There is no shortage of Tiantian here. While communicating with Lin Mo every day, Tutai, who had already left, also returned to Ichiraku ramen shop. "Dad, why are you back so late?" At the Ichiraku ramen shop, a chorus looked at the hand coming back, and immediately complained, "You didn't even come back with the raw materials. The 2 customers who just wanted to eat were all out of stock, and we made less money." "I went to Lin Mo's store." Shoda hesitated for a moment, then explained, "So I stayed for a while." As he spoke, there was a hint of physical pain on his face. Subconsciously, he touched the note in his pocket. Hearing what he said, a chorus immediately put down what he was doing and asked quickly, "How is the store he opened? Where is it?" "It's true, Dad, you didn't buy a few jars. Our ramen shop has also been short of food recently." Jar. Seeing his father holding a big bag of flour in his hand, Calamus complained a little. Hand type. Seeing his daughter caring so much about Lin Mo, Shuda's mouth twitched slightly. "I bought the jar, but the jar sold by Lin Mo is different from what we thought." Said, Shuda briefly talked about his encounter with Lin Mo, and the price and simple information about the jar. "What? 100,000 taels for a jar? This way of selling?" After hearing what Shuda said, a chorus took a breath of cold air. "This is gambling. This is completely gambling. How should I put it? I think so too, but..." Shuda scratched his head and said in a puzzled way, "I saw Naruto and Tiantian." Shuda briefly talked about Tiantian, and it was Tiantian who invited him to open the jar. At the same time, there was something that Uzumaki Naruto opened, which made a chorus look shocked. "Is Naruto that rich? It's impossible. And Tiantian, his family runs a ninja tool store, and he is a child who is not short of money. There is no need to be a shill for Lin Mo. An egg similar to a summoning beast. It sounds interesting. What did you get, Dad?" Chorus pinched her jade white chin, pondered for a moment, and said, "It sounds like opening that jar is very profitable, or it is worth spending 100,000 taels to gamble once. Summoning beasts are rare, and ordinary people don't have them. Even if you want to buy them, you can't buy them." Chorus was very curious about Lin Mo and the jar at this time. Because her father actually said that Uzumaki Naruto opened a spirit similar to a summoning beast. She really wanted to know what her father opened. Chapter 71. Alas. Hearing what a chorus said, Shuda sighed and took out the recipe from his pocket with a little toothache. Seeing the action of his father, a chorus was a little confused. "Dad, what are you taking out the paper for?" "A list of materials." Hand. Hearing what a chorus said, Shuda's mouth twitched slightly, and said, "This is what I opened from Lin Mo's jar." A chorus. Seeing the white paper that his father took out, a chorus was silent. 100,000 taels, and this thing came out. If she hadn't heard from her father that Tiantian and Uzumaki Naruto were also there, and even if she felt that Lin Mo shouldn't be that kind of person, she would have been sure that her father was deceived. Lin Mo said this is a recipe for a gourmet food, but how can a recipe be written on paper these days? Shoda shook his head helplessly, with a doting smile on his face. "However, when I think about it for you, Chongpu, I will spend the money. Our noodle shop doesn't need this 100,000 taels." Dad. When Chongpu heard her father's words, her face instantly blushed and she stamped her feet lightly. She lowered her head in a hurry, as if a secret had been revealed in her heart, and she was so shy that she didn't know what to do. Shoda's words undoubtedly hit her heart. The affection and curiosity for Lin Mo seemed to be exposed in her eyes. Shoda looked at his daughter's reaction and laughed in his heart. He knew his daughter's mind too well. He didn't directly scold her, but continued with a teasing tone, "What? Can't I spend more money for you?" Chongpu muttered in a low voice, "Who asked you to spend money for me?" Chongpu's voice became softer and softer, and the whole person looked more shy and cute. Shuda shook his head and laughed. "Next time Lin Mo comes, you can talk to him boldly." "Okay, I'll go knead the flour," said. Shuda turned around and walked to the side to get busy. He really had no interest in the food recipe recorded on the white paper that Lin Mo mentioned. It would be better to knead his own ramen. Lin Mo should not lie to people. And a chorus looked at the words recorded on the white paper curiously. Since it was a food recipe, he might as well follow it. It's nothing anyway. At the very least, it was bought by his father at a price of 100,000 taels. And she didn't think Lin Mo would cheat his father. Although they had only had a short contact, he was a very gentle person when communicating with him. Thinking of this, a chorus blushed and scanned the words on the white paper carefully. It feels more like a secret seasoning recipe, with powder. The steps are a bit complicated. After a quick look, a chorus, as a cook, instantly judged it. These secret seasonings should be the most important. Just give it a try. It's nothing to do anyway. A chorus immediately took the recipe and went to the small kitchen at the back to tinker with it. This kid. Looking at a chorus's actions, Shuda laughed. Since this kid is interested in tinkering, let him tinker with it. Anyway, he can handle it by himself. Time passed quietly. From time to time, a customer came to Ichiraku Ramen to eat ramen. The seats in the store were almost never empty. Customers came in and out, and the aroma of ramen filled the air, as if even time was stained with this tempting smell. Until the sun slowly set, the light in the sky gradually became soft, and the shadow outside the store gradually lengthened with the passage of time. Handa's hands never stopped, busy and skillfully preparing bowl after bowl of ramen. "Hey, Shuda, why is Ayame not here?" A regular customer of Ichiraku Ramen sat down and ordered a bowl of ramen. He found that it was served by Shuda and was surprised. "Where is Ayame?" Houseda's daughter Ayame is very popular with customers. Every time, Ayame serves ramen. This child is tinkering with something new in the kitchen. Hearing this, Shuda smiled and said, "I can handle it by myself, so I won't bother this child." "Oh, tinkering with something new." The customer immediately became interested and said, "Is Ichiraku Ramen going to launch a new style again?" Houseda smiled and nodded. Just as he was about to answer, a faint sour smell suddenly floated into his nose. The smell was only light at first, but it became strong in an instant, as if some over-fermented ingredients mixed with an unknown smell were spreading in the air. The customer was stunned for a moment and frowned. Shoda couldn't help but stop what he was doing. The two looked at each other, their eyes full of surprise and confusion. Where did this smell come from? It was fine just now, why did such an indescribable smell suddenly come out? This smell. The customer couldn't help but cover his nose, his eyes full of curiosity and confusion. Shoda was also confused and quickly turned to look in the direction of the kitchen. At this moment, the kitchen door was suddenly pushed open, and an excited voice came from inside. "Dad, I figured it out." A chorus rushed out excitedly, holding a bowl with a faint white smoke in her hand. Her face was filled with a proud smile, as if she was holding some amazing invention in her hand. But as soon as she appeared, the sour smell in the store suddenly became stronger, almost making it impossible to open your eyes. Shoda and the customer took a step back at the same time, their faces full of disbelief. "Holy crap, it smells so bad. What did you study about this smell? Put the money here, I'll come back tomorrow." The customers who were still in the Ichiraku Ramen shop immediately covered their noses when they smelled this smell. Anyone who wants to sit down after eating should leave immediately. Some of them left in a hurry not long after they sat down and were not ready to eat anymore. Hand type. Watching some familiar old customers leaving, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Then he turned to look at Calamus, resisting the smell that hit his face, and tried to ask in a calm tone, "Calamus, what is this?" Although he was already a little dizzy from the smell. Forehead. When Chongpu came out, he saw that there was almost no one in the store, and even the only customers were driven away by the smell. He immediately lowered his head in embarrassment and said, "It's the snail noodles made of paper you gave me." "But Daddy, you have a taste first." Saying that, Calamus quickly said, "This tastes so good." Hand type. Looking at the sour-smelling thing in Calamus's hand, Calamus's face turned green. "My good daughter actually let me eat this. Can this thing be eaten? This taste. It's really, really delicious." Seeing Shandai's increasingly distorted expression, Chongpu said hurriedly, "Dad, have a taste." "No." Shoda looked at the bowl of snail noodles in his hand that exuded a strong sour smell, and his face turned obviously green. The sour smell kept entering his nostrils, making him subconsciously want to take a step back. But seeing the expectant look on Akoris's face, he had to endure it. "It's really, really delicious." Seeing that his father had not made any move, Chongpu hurriedly emphasized it again. He added, "I'm not going to lie to you, this is really a delicious dish, I've tasted it." Shandai felt secretly miserable in his heart, but he couldn't refuse, so he could only bite the bullet and think of something to say to ease the embarrassment. As a result, before he could speak, Chongpu couldn't wait to pick up a piece of snail noodles and stuffed it directly into his mouth. Before I could react, my mouth was already full of snail noodles. The sour smell exploded in his mouth instantly, his eyes widened suddenly, and his whole body froze. He thought that the taste would be difficult for him to swallow, but strangely, as he savored it carefully, he gradually felt a strange refreshing feeling on the tip of his tongue. Although the sour smell is strong, it is surprisingly appetizing. The salty soup and elastic vermicelli intertwine in the mouth, which actually brings an indescribable delicious experience. Shandai was shocked. He had never thought that such a strange taste could bring such a strong delicious impact. He subconsciously took another bite and tasted it carefully. The sour, spicy, fresh, and fragrant flavors unfolded layer by layer on the tip of his tongue, making his whole body immersed in this ultimate taste. After a few mouthfuls of snail rice noodles, I found myself unable to stop. The sour smell that originally made him avoid it has now turned into a temptation that makes people want to stop. He ate one bite after another, completely forgetting his initial resistance, and even drank the soup without hesitation. Putting down the empty bowl, he raised his head and looked at Calamus in shock, his eyes full of disbelief. He didn't expect that this seemingly inconspicuous and even weird-tasting bowl would bring him such wonderful taste enjoyment. When Akoris saw this, a proud smile appeared on his face, with his hands on his hips, as if he had expected it. "How about it, Dad? I didn't lie to you, did I? This is really delicious. Although the taste is a bit special, as long as it's one bite and you will fall in love with it." Quote. "Lin Mo really didn't lie to you. This thing is worth 100,000 taels. I have a hunch that when this thing is launched, it will definitely become popular. This is really delicious." The more Chongpu spoke, the more excited he became. "I knew that Lin Mo was not that kind of person, and my intuition was right." After hearing what Akoris said, Shandai opened his mouth, but he had not yet recovered from the shock. He really didn't expect that the paper he got from Lin Mo's jar shop could actually make such delicious food. He himself was completely conquered by this bowl of snail noodles. "So we can definitely add this snail rice noodle dish to the menu." Tita laughed and said, "Many people say that our Ichiraku ramen is not strong enough, but once the ramen becomes strong, it completely destroys the original taste. Now, the introduction of this snail rice noodle is guaranteed to surprise them. That's what it tastes like." As he said this, he said with a confused look on his face, "This smell has turned many people away. And certainly not everyone will like it." Although he ate well, many of the tastes were different. "This is simple." Iris beamed with joy and said, "Dad, the reputation of you in Ichiraku ramen has spread throughout the entire Konoha village. I believe that regular customers will definitely trust you. After they eat it, taste it and promote it, it will definitely become popular. This snail noodle is so popular that we will open another store specifically selling this snail noodle. If it's not popular, then join us in the noodle shop and open a separate cubicle to prevent ramen eaters from being affected." As Akoris continued to analyze, Shandai's eyes became brighter and brighter. Relishing the lingering fragrance in his mouth, he nodded involuntarily. "This recipe is indeed worth 100,000 taels. If it is for sale, 100,000 taels will definitely not buy this recipe." The next second, a chorus hurriedly said, Lin Mazan didn't lie to you, this is a recipe for a gourmet food. And this is just you opening a jar and you get this kind of gourmet food. We can definitely open a few more jars. If we get some more gourmet food, we will make a lot of money. So, take me to open the jars tomorrow. Yeah. Hearing a chorus words, he slapped his hand and said embarrassedly, You were right, I will go to Linmo to apologize to my brother tomorrow. I still misunderstood him today. Although he found an excuse for his daughter, it was 100,000 taels, and he had to sell dozens or hundreds of bowls of ramen to earn it, which was still painful. But now it seems that Lin Mazan didn't lie to him. I have tasted snail noodles myself, and I know that this gourmet recipe is definitely not something that can be bought with 100,000 taels. Okay. When he heard his father say that he would take him to Lin Mo's place, a chorus smiled. If he knew where Lin Mo opened a shop, he could go there when he had nothing to do. Walk around more. If the snail noodles become popular, open a shop next to Lin Mo. Let's make more snail noodles tonight, sell them tomorrow morning, and let the guests have a taste. Immediately, Shuda suggested, and a chorus nodded. Then he quickly cleaned up, closed the door, and began to make the seasoning for the snail noodles. As a professional ramen shop owner, Shuda is very familiar with the seasoning. No words were spoken that night. The next morning, the streets of Konoha Village gradually woke up in the morning light. The door of Ichiraku Ramen Restaurant opened early, and the warm yellow light spilled out of the store, welcoming the guests of the new day. Shuda and a chorus prepared today's menu early in the morning. Especially the seasoning for the snail noodles that I worked so hard to make last night, quietly placed behind the counter. Soon, the first batch of customers came into the store one after another. They were all regular customers who came to eat breakfast. As soon as they stepped into the store, they smelled a strange smell. The smell was hard to describe, sour and smelly, with a special smell that made people frown. Shoda, why is there such a strange smell in the store today? A customer frowned and sat down, asking in confusion. Shoda had already expected such a reaction, and explained with a smile, This is our new product snail noodles. Don't look at the smell. It doesn't smell good, it tastes absolutely amazing. In the name of Ichiraku Ramen, I guarantee that you will like it. Snail noodles. Another customer sniffed the smell in the air suspiciously, and his face was speechless. This smell is too special, right? Can it really be eaten? This smell is simply shit. Shuda smiled and nodded, saying affirmatively, Don't worry, although the taste is special, you will find it delicious after taking a bite. Am I destroying my own sign? Do you want to try it? Hearing Shuda's words, the guests who came to the ramen shop looked at each other, some of them were full of doubts, and some seemed a little curious. After all, Shuda never fooled them with unpalatable things. They are also old customers. So their hesitation also carried a hint of expectation. Then I'll try it. Finally, a customer said bravely, and he ordered a bowl of snail noodles half-believingly. Soon, a chorus personally came out with a bowl of steaming snail noodles and placed it in front of the customer. The strong sour smell rushed into the nasal cavity again, and the customer couldn't help but frown. But he still plucked up the courage to pick up a chopstick of snail noodles and put it into his mouth. At this moment, his eyes suddenly widened, and the chopsticks in his hand also stopped in midair. The unbearable taste turned into a strong delicious impact on the tip of the tongue. The sour, spicy, fresh and fragrant taste blended perfectly in the mouth, bringing a unique taste that he had never experienced before. This is so delicious. The man was instantly excited, and quickly took another big bite and ate it excitedly. His excited reaction immediately attracted the attention of others. The guests who were still hesitating began to become curious and asked to order a bowl to try. For a while, a chorus was busy and served bowls of snail noodles to the table, and the sour smell gradually spread in the store. But with the first bite, all doubts and disbelief were quickly replaced by excitement and admiration. It's so delicious. Handmade, you really made a treasure this time. Another guest ate it with big mouthfuls and exclaimed sincerely, This thing is really amazing. For a while, the guests who came to Ichiraku Ramen shop began to discuss this snail noodle enthusiastically. The originally empty store gradually became lively. Shuda and a chorus were busy, but their faces were full of excited smiles. This means that this attempt was very successful. As more and more people tried it, this snail noodle with a special taste gradually won the favor of customers, and many people even asked to take it away after eating. Ichiraku Ramen House once again became the focus of discussion among the noodle shop because of this innovation. This trend is destined to be brought to all parts of Konoha Village. It seems that snail noodles are really successful. After a long time of busy work, the snail noodles that were originally few were quickly sold out. Shuda looked at the satisfied expressions of the customers and felt extremely excited. It really worked. The snail noodle recipe obtained from Linmo's can is really popular. Although some people don't like it, the majority still like it. Dad, let me tell you, everyone will definitely like it. Calamus stood aside, smiling so hard that his eyes narrowed into a thin line. When it closes, we will go to Linmo's place to open the can. Shoda nodded and looked at Chongpu with gratitude. Yes, Chongpu, you really did a good job. If you hadn't studied it, I would have ignored this snail noodle. You know, I got this snail rice noodle recipe yesterday, but I didn't take it seriously. As a result, it was only after Chongpu took action that he discovered the content of this snail powder. Just this morning, when it was launched, most people who like ramen instantly switched to snail noodles. So, we can definitely open a snail noodle shop. Akoris narrowed his eyes and said, just wait for 2 more days, and our snail noodles will definitely become popular in Konoha Village. Good. Hand nodded and said, when the time comes, you will be the boss. You will be responsible for the snail noodles and I will be responsible for the Ichiraku ramen. I still have to thank Linmo. As he said this, Shandai sighed again, feeling full of gratitude to Linmo. The snail noodles are newly launched and are an early adopter. When pricing is promoted, it will definitely become more popular. Isn't it easy to earn 100,000 taels? And it can also become the signature of Konoha Village. Both he and his daughter can be famous in Konoha. The more I thought about hand beating, the more excited I became. Handmaid, here's another bowl of snail noodles. At this time, a customer who had finished a bowl of snail noodles waved. Sorry, the snail noodles are sold out. Hearing this, Chongpu looked at it immediately, and then apologized. This is the early adopter model we launched today. Let's see if it is popular. Let's wait for tomorrow. No more. If I had known I had just packed a portion, I would have thought about going back and giving it to my wife to try. Hearing what Chongpu said, those present who were eating snail noodles were extremely shocked. Is this gone? Many people looked disappointed. Don't worry, there will definitely be one tomorrow. Seeing everyone's disappointment, Shoda laughed and said, I didn't expect that you would like snail noodles so much. Okay, then I'll come early tomorrow. Oh, after eating snail noodles, I can't even eat Ichiraku ramen. I can understand that it is impossible to test the quality of a new product by hand. Congratulations. Everyone who listened to Sho's words spoke up and even congratulated. Time passed quietly. Soon it was morning, and the noodle shop was gradually deserted. Daddy, let's go to Linmo's place to open the can. Seeing this scene, Akoris was a little impatient and said, come and thank Linmo, and open a few more jars. If we can open up this delicious recipe again, our Ichiraku ramen shop will definitely make a lot of money. Hearing Akoris's words, Tita smiled and nodded. No need for Calamus to tell him, he would do the same. The hot-selling snail noodles this morning have proven how popular this delicacy is. If a few similar ones are opened, the reputation of his Ichiraku ramen shop will definitely spread out of Konoha Village and to other places. This morning, if 50 people came, then more than 40 of them had eaten snail noodles. And after eating it, I had to pack it up and take it away. I was full of praise. You don't need to think about it to know that snail noodles will definitely become popular in Konoha Village. This time will definitely not be long. While earning fame, you can also earn a lot of money. Just thinking about it makes you excited. Because snail noodles haven't been officially priced yet. The sum of the two is no longer something that can be measured by 100,000 taels. All this is thanks to the jar shop opened by Linmo. Thinking of this, he stopped beating his hands and closed the door of the noodle shop directly, taking Chongpu Xing and hurried to the jar shop where Linmo was. There are still more than 30 jar gaps left before we can get the exclusive jar. At this time, in the jar shop, Linmo, who stopped refining chakra, looked at the number of jars sold and fell into deep thought. There are still more than 30 gaps left between 100 jars. Where can we fill this gap? Subconsciously, Lin Mo checked the radiation range of the True Vision Guard, which was a 1-kilometer radius outside the jar shop. Compared to the patrolling ninjas that appeared in the range yesterday, there were no patrolling ninjas in the True Vision Guard range today. The theft of the sealed book disappeared completely after just one night, as if it had never happened. It was this guy Uzumaki Naruto who gave me a little surprise, and he showed me the multiple shadow clone technique. Thinking so, Lin Mo took out the scroll that Uzumaki Naruto handed to him yesterday. The scroll clearly recorded the multiple shadow clone technique and the incomplete 8 gates of the ninja technique. I only had time to take out this scroll and look through it this morning. Then, with the help of the previously fused ninjutsu mastery talent, he easily became proficient in making hand seals and used the chakra in his body to separate shadow clones. Since the fusion of the ninjutsu mastery talent, the speed at which he learned ninjutsu to make hand seals was simply terrifying. If it weren't for the lack of chakra in his body, he could have separated more. As for the incomplete 8 gates of the ninja technique, he didn't need to learn it. 4 days have passed since Hinata opened the jar. In 3 days, it will be a new week. When the time comes, as long as Hyuga Hiyashi comes to open the jar, he will definitely be able to achieve the goal of the first exclusive jar. These 3 days are just right for me to continue to refine my chakra and master my ninjutsu. Don't worry about that old man Danzo being knocked down by the Tenka softening powder these days. He will be able to calm down for at least a few days. Very good. Thoughts flashed quickly in Lin Mo's mind, and he squinted his eyes. For a moment, he was not in a hurry. The gaps in the 3 or 4 jars will be filled soon. It will be opened in 3 days at the latest. Life is so good. Lin Mo, I've cooked. When Lin Mo thought so, Tiantian came over happily with a few dishes. Because she came to Lin Mo's place again this morning, chatted with Lin Mo, and trained in the backyard for a while. I didn't want to eat ramen, so I volunteered to cook. After all, she had also integrated the cooking experience light ball before. Although she had not tried cooking yet and it was her first time, she had become a chef after integrating the experience light ball. She felt that she had found a perfect excuse to stay here. Lin Mo couldn't eat ramen every day. In this regard, Lin Mo did not refuse and let Tiantian cook. He also integrated the cooking experience of Tiantian and his mother. With the double blessing, his cooking experience is definitely crushing Tiantian. But with Tiantian doing it for him, it was quite easy for him. Okay, looking at the dishes brought by Tiantian, Lin Mo nodded. Just when Tiantian had just filled the rice and placed it in front of Lin Mo, and he was about to sit down and eat. Lin Mo saw the hand and calamus appearing in the range through the True Vision Guard. What's wrong? Tiantian, who was holding the bowl and preparing to eat, was confused when he saw that Lin Mo didn't eat. He subconsciously looked at the dishes he made. There is no problem. Why did he suddenly stop eating? Eat later, there are customers coming. Lin Mo chuckled. Tiantian was stunned, and subconsciously turned his head to look outside the jar shop, but found nothing. There was no one. Before Tiantian could speak, the figures of Akoris and Shuda soon appeared in Tiantian's eyes. Is there really someone? Looking at Shuda and Akoris who appeared, Tiantian was surprised. How did Lin Mo know that Shuda and Akoris would come soon? It seems that we are not here at the right time. When Shuda walked in, he looked at the food on the table and felt embarrassed. I didn't expect to disturb you, Lin Mo, to eat. He didn't expect that Lin Mo was actually eating. Compared to the embarrassed Shuda, Akoris looked at Tiantian with some suspicion, and then looked at Lin Mo, with a vague worry in his heart. Why does Tiantian follow Lin Mo all day long? And he is eating here. What is the relationship between these two people? But I still want to thank you, Lin Mo. The next second, before Lin Mo could speak, Shoda hurriedly said excitedly, the recipe for the snail noodles I gave you yesterday has been made by my calamus, and the food is really beyond my imagination. Shoda knew that if it wasn't for the jar, he couldn't make the recipe for the snail noodles. Looking at the excited Shoda, Lin Mo laughed and said, I said it was a gourmet recipe at the time, and you left without waiting for me to finish. As for the details of the snail noodles, he didn't have time to tell Shoda, and Shoda left. But since Shoda came to say so now, it is obvious that the snail noodles have been made. And the effect is still surprisingly good. I'm sorry. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Shoda's face flushed, a little ashamed. I was in a bad mood when I made that thing yesterday. Thinking that he actually distrusted Lin Mo yesterday, Shoda wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. So Lin Mo, we are here to open jars. Cyclone smiled brightly and said, we want to buy a few more jars this time. Sure. Hearing what Cyclone said, Lin Mo nodded and said, 100,000 taels per jar, each person can only open 10 jars a week, you can open 10, and your father can open 9. In this way, there are still a dozen jars left to reach the goal of 100. Comfortable. Can each person only open 10 jars a week? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Changpu looked surprised and said, you still have a purchase limit here. She thought she could buy as much as she wanted. Unexpectedly, Lin Mo still has a purchase limit. Yeah. Tian also stood up at this time and said with a smile, no matter who comes to Lin Mo, you can only open 10 jars a week. Sister Changpu, if you don't open 10 jars this week, you can still only open 10 jars next week, and it won't be superimposed. Is that so? Hearing Tian's words, Changpu understood. The next second, Changpu was glad that she brought a lot of money. Wait a minute. Beside her, Shoda hurriedly said, Changpu, you open first, I'll go back to get the money, we don't have enough money. You know, 1 jar is 100,000 taels, and 10 jars are 1 million taels. Together, I and a chorus can open 19. That's 1,900,000 taels. When I came here, I didn't think of bringing so much money. Now it seems that he feels that opening 19 jars is a big win. So the limited number of jars this week must be opened, otherwise it will be a big loss. I just opened 1 jar and got the recipe for snail noodles. If these 19 jars can open a few more recipes, it will be a big profit. This is completely an advance investment. Without any hesitation, after typing it out, he decisively left and went back to get the money. And a chorus took out the remaining money, handed it to Lin Mo and whispered, Lin Mo, this is 600,000, you can open 6 jars, and the remaining jars will be opened after Dad comes. By the way, can it be cheaper? While speaking, a chorus suddenly thought of something, and said with a slightly red face, a little cheaper is fine. Don't think about it, sister. A chorus. Hearing a chorus's words, Tian spread his hands and said without waiting for Lin Mo to speak, no matter who comes here to open the jar, it is 100,000 taels. The rules here cannot be broken. Even the patriarch of the Hyuga clan has to pay 100,000 taels for each jar. The patriarch of the Hyuga clan also comes to open the jar. Hearing Tiantian's words, a chorus was immediately surprised. The patriarch of that kind of ninja family also came to Lin Mo to open the jar. It seems that it is a little late for me to come here to open the jar. Before this, I had never heard of this jar. Immediately, a chorus said to Lin Mo in embarrassment, then I take back what I said before. It's okay. Lin Mo shook his head and laughed. Once the rules are set, they can't be changed. When speaking, Lin Mo felt helpless. If it weren't for this broken shop having this rule, he would have sold a lot. And a chorus nodded quickly. I understand. As he said that, a chorus looked at the jars on the counter and soon took a fancy to the bottom row. Lin Mo, I want those 6 jars. Okay. Seeing this, Lin Mo waved his hand, and immediately 6 jars flew out steadily and landed silently in front of a chorus, which made a chorus hesitate. Lin Mo is really not an ordinary person. Just this one move made a chorus's little thoughts waver. No, now we should open the jars first, and we shouldn't think about other things. The next second, a chorus shook his head quickly, making the thoughts in his mind disappear instantly. Then a chorus knocked open the first jar directly. Bang! The first jar broke, and a strong fragrance suddenly escaped, instantly filling the nose of a chorus who was closest to it. What a nice smell! This smell made a chorus subconsciously take a deep breath and exclaimed in surprise. A strong smell of fireworks fried rice made her stare at the thing that was opened. This was a plate of fried rice, but the color of the fried rice was golden, which made a chorus stunned. What a beautiful fried rice! And it smelled so good. Not only a chorus smelled it, but Tiantian also smelled it, and swallowed her saliva subconsciously. Then she reacted, her face flushed. She suddenly felt that the dish she had just made was not so fragrant. Golden egg fried rice. The golden egg fried rice just out of the oven from somewhere, cooked with special ingredients, so it glows and is even more delicious. At this time, Lin Mo looked at the introduction of this thing, raised his eyebrows, and said, "As you can see, this is golden egg fried rice, freshly baked. You can try it and see how it tastes." Incredible, how is this fried rice made? Hearing Lin Mo's words, a chorus carefully looked at the fried rice and whispered, "I'm not even seeing wrong, this golden rice grain seems to glow." "Not bad." Lin Mo nodded. "This is a plate of golden egg fried rice, a delicacy. Eat it while it's hot. If it gets cold, the taste will change. It will take a while to eat this plate of fried rice." Hearing Lin Mo's words, a chorus blushed. "I don't have chopsticks either." She came to open the jar, and it was impossible for her to bring chopsticks with her. Could she grab it with her hands? Here, Tiantian next to her immediately handed over a pair of chopsticks without saying a word. "Sister Chorus, have you had lunch? If you haven't, it's time to eat. I have chopsticks here." "Thank you." After hearing Tiantian's words, Changpu immediately took it and began to taste this plate of golden egg fried rice. So delicious. The moment he tasted the golden egg fried rice, Changpu's face showed excitement. "This taste is just like eating my mother's egg fried rice when I was a child, that kind of happy taste." While talking, Calamus ate quickly. Soon, a large plate of egg fried rice was completely wiped out by the Calamus. It wasn't until after eating that Calamus realized what he was doing. When she saw Lin Mo and Tiantian looking at her, Changpu lowered his head with a red face and whispered, "Sorry, I lost my temper. It seems like this stuff is really delicious." Tiantian smacked his lips. "Otherwise, Sister Changpu, you wouldn't have eaten so fast." Judging from the look of a chorus, she knew how delicious the egg fried rice was, and she wanted to eat it too. Hearing Tiantian's words, Changpu's face turned red. She actually lost her composure in front of a child, which made her feel ashamed. "Open the can first." Lin Mo shook his head and said with a smile, "No one can control this kind of delicacy." "Aha." Hearing Lin Mo's words, Changpu nodded quickly. Then continued to look at the next jar and knock open the second jar decisively. Bang! The second can broke, and an iron bucket suddenly fell out. "This is..." Seeing this thing, Calamus looked shocked. "Canned food? Is there such a big canned food? This looks like a tin can for stuffing. But this jar is too big." Not only that, there were words on it that she couldn't understand. "It looks like a powder." Tiantian came over with a curious look on his face and murmured, "But what are these series of ghost symbols? Why can't I understand them?" When speaking, he pointed to the north of Titong. "There are dense black symbols there. Sanhua non-dairy milk, a high-tech product from a certain world, a condiment made from concentrated fresh milk. Sanhua full-fat evaporated milk is often used to prepare drinks such as desserts, coffee, thick soups, and milk tea. In milk tea drinks, it is one of the essential condiments, a synthetic product. Non-fat evaporated milk is a cholesterol-free vegetable fat with a rich and mellow taste. It is an ideal choice for making various dishes, soups and snacks. It's sugar-free, easy to digest, and delicious." At this time, Lin Mo looked at the thing bloomed by the Calamus with a strange look on his face. "Why is this thing?" As for what Tiantian said about not being able to understand the symbols, they were words from different places. "There are words I recognize behind this." And Changpu looked carefully, and suddenly saw a small area where he could see the words, and said in surprise, "Sanhua non-fat milk." Milk. While talking, a chorus stepped forward and hugged the Sanhua non-dairy milk, shaking it slightly. It turned out that there was a flowing feeling of liquid, which instantly made a chorus think that this should be milk. "Well, this thing." Lin Mo pinched his chin and tried to organize his words, saying, "This is a kind of dessert, coffee, thick soup and milk tea. You can understand that with this thing, anyone can easily make delicious dishes, soups and snacks. This is a quick dessert preparation." Lin Mo briefly talked about the Sanhua evaporated milk, trying to make it as easy to understand as possible so that a chorus could understand it. "Ah." Hearing Lin Mo's words, Changpu's expression froze. "Can this thing make soups and soups whiter and more delicious? It sounds like this thing is just for cooking." Tiantian thought, "When the soup turns white, it will be delicious. The only thing I can think of is mutton soup." After all, the mutton soup is not white enough. Add a spoonful of Sanhua evaporated milk and the mutton soup will become as white as snow. This thing can be eaten as a pawn. Be the chef. As Tiantian talks, Tiantian's eyes become brighter and brighter. This thing seems to be very good. Sister Calamus, your ramen restaurant also makes soup. Tiantian turned to look at Calamus and thought, with this thing, wouldn't it be possible to speed up? But, isn't there any harm in this kind of thing? Hearing Tiantian's words, Changpu frowned, looked at the bucket of Sanhua evaporated milk in his hand and said in confusion, this is the first time I've heard of this. She didn't doubt what Lin Mo said. She was thinking, is there no harm in this kind of thing? Generally speaking, things that are quick-made have some bad effects. Doesn't this thing have any impact? Good intuition. Hearing Changpu's words, Lin Mo nodded and said, this kind of high-tech thing only plays a supporting role and does not have any nutrition. It can only be said to be a kind of fast food preparation. For ordinary people, although there is no big problem after eating it, the impact is subtle, and it certainly cannot be compared with real mutton soup, because the nutrition of both sides is different. Quote, if an ordinary ninja eats it, it will naturally have no effect. Because the physique of ninjas is different from that of ordinary people. They refine chakra and their physical fitness is stronger than that of ordinary people. Although there are also some alternative types who are not physically strong. Oh, hearing Lin Mo's words, Changpu understood. I just said, how can something like this have no impact? But if you're too busy in the future, you can use this thing to make some and sell it specifically to those ninjas. If it's an ordinary person, then you must change it to a nutritious soup. This kind of thing is not nutritious. A chorus murmured. Sometimes Ichiraku ramen shop is very busy, and it's not easy to prepare the things that are busy. Some things are even easier to sell out. But there are also a lot of leftovers after making a lot of them and selling them for a day. With this thing, it seems that my own ramen shop can be easier. Lin Mo. God, it's sold specifically to ninjas. But this thing is really delicious. At least compared to ordinary mutton soup, it has a good color, aroma and taste. Ninjas can even eat things like bingliangwan, so there is no problem eating this. In terms of negative effects, bingliangwan is a little worse than this thing. Very good, it's settled. And a chorus put down the iron bucket and continued to look at the remaining cans. 2 of the 6 jars have been opened, and there are 4 jars left. Without any hesitation, a chorus decisively knocked open 2 more jars. With 2 bangs, the 2 jars broke. Suddenly, a blue light ball and a white light ball fell down. You were lucky, Sister Chorus. Seeing the 2 light balls, Tiantian was surprised. You opened 2 light balls in a row. Ah, hearing Tiantian's words, Chorus was a little confused. What does this light ball mean? Why do these 2 light balls sound amazing? But this light ball is too strange. It is impossible to see what it is. Marathon Skills for Veteran Runners contains the experience of an old runner who has participated in marathons for many years. After absorbing it, you can understand the correct running posture, rhythm control and physical management skills. Chakra of ordinary genin, it comes from the chakra that an ordinary genin has cultivated hard. After fusion, it can instantly superimpose its own chakra and increase the chakra of ordinary genin level. At this time, Lin Mo looked at the 2 things that Changpu opened, raised his eyebrows and said, one is the experience of long-distance running skills, which can exercise your body. As for the other one, it is a chakra light ball. After fusion, you can obtain a certain amount of chakra. It can appear directly in your body without practice, eliminating the step of your practice. Ah, hearing Lin Mo's words, Changpu looked at the blue light ball with astonishment. You can get chakra without practice. Her ninja qualifications are not good, and she can't become a female ninja at all. Even if she learns chakra refining, she can't refine chakra. She is not even a genin, just an ordinary person. As a result, she can now open chakra that can be obtained without refining. Yes. Beside him, Tiantian laughed and said, Sister Changpu, you should merge quickly. After fusion, you will know what Lin Mo said. Hearing Tiantian's words, Changpu was a little moved and immediately reached out to touch the chakra light ball. In an instant, a blue light ball poured into her body, allowing a chorus to instantly feel that a large amount of chakra poured into her body and was stored in her body. Good, So magical. Feeling much more chakra than before, Akoris looked dazed. Did I get the chakra of Genin level so easily? Although you have obtained the chakra of Genin level, you must also learn how to use it, otherwise you can't guide it out. Looking at the dazed Akoris, Linmo shook his head and said, the best way to use it is to practice ninjutsu, or use chakra refining method to get familiar with these chakra amounts, so as to control them. Otherwise, for you, this chakra light ball is not as good as another long-distance running experience. After all, this long-distance running experience and skills can train your body and make you run faster, but if the chakra is not well controlled, it will not help you at all. Even if an ordinary person obtains this level of chakra, it is useless if he does not use it properly. Yes, hearing Lin Mo's words, Akoris reacted and nodded heavily. Yes, how long has it been since I last used chakra? The mobilization of these chakras in her body made her a little uncontrollable because she was not proficient. After returning, she would practice it well. At the same time, Akoris also reached out to touch the marathon technique. In an instant, Akoris felt a surge of knowledge pouring into her mind, allowing Akoris to digest it instantly, with a look of surprise on her face. According to this technique, she can indeed run long distances. Unfortunately, it's just a technique, and there is no experience in training. Tiantian was paying attention to Akoris's body, scratched his head and said, this technique is different from experience. Sister Akoris, if you give out the experience of long-distance running training, then your body will be strengthened. That's not bad. Hearing Tiantian's words, Akoris immediately smiled and said, with this, I can exercise running in Konoha every day. While running, exercise chakra again, perfect. Almost instantly, Akoris had a general idea. The chakra she had just obtained needs to be proficient, and she can exercise her body through running. This way, I can come to Lin Mo's place every day. Thinking of this, Akoris narrowed his eyes and looked at the remaining 2 cans. Smashed them all decisively. With 2 bangs, the 2 cans broke and 2 things fell down. A small box and an iron can-like thing made Akoris confused. Why is it something I don't recognize again? Concentrated apple juice, a high-tech drink from an unknown world, containing various ingredients. Just pour out a drop of concentrated apple juice and add water, and you can easily mix a bottle of peach branch drink with full fruity aroma. It tastes better when it is iced. It is not suitable for drinking in large quantities because it does not have any nutrition, only the fragrance of apples. Sleepwalking box. Just write down what you want to do on a piece of paper, put the paper into the sleepwalking box, and when you sleep, press the sleepwalking box under your pillow, and you can do things while sleeping. Looking at the thing that Akoris opened, Lin Mo was silent. Concentrated apple juice is really outrageous. This is the raw material for blending juice. Lin Mo pointed at the concentrated apple juice and said, you only need to pour out 1 or 2 drops and mix it with water to get a glass of apple juice, which tastes only like apples. Isn't this fooling people? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian suddenly widened his eyes and said in astonishment, shouldn't apple juice be made from apples? It only tastes like apples. Is this still apple juice? This can be considered juice. Hearing Tiantian's words, Akoris nodded in agreement, agreeing with Tiantian's words. And Lin Mo looked at the sleepwalking box and continued, as for this sleepwalking box, if you have anything you want to do, you can write it on this piece of paper and put it in the box. When you sleep, put the box under your pillow, and you can do things while sleeping, and it won't interfere with your work. If I remember correctly, this thing is also a kind of prop. If this thing can appear in batches, it can really make workers work overtime. Work while sleeping without delaying work. Ah. Hearing this, Akoris looked at the palm-sized box in front of him with a look of astonishment. There is such a thing. It sounds too strange. She only remembers sleepwalking when she was a child. She won't sleepwalk when she grows up. This thing. Tiantian scratched his head and said, Lin Mo, does this thing affect people's energy? You know, people's energy is not infinite. The reason why people sleep is to replenish their physical strength and energy. If you use this, won't you feel tired? If you don't feel tired, you can practice crazily. It's simply a tool for practice. Yes. Akoris hesitated and said, if I put this thing under my father's pillow and let my father make dough while sleeping, will he be tired the next day? If he doesn't feel tired, then this thing is great. It's probably not possible to do that kind of physical work that consumes a lot of energy. After all, human muscles also need to relax. Lin Mo chuckled and said, if it's some small jobs or something, there's naturally no problem, such as night watch. If used well, it's really useful. I haven't used this thing, so if you want to know the detailed effect, you need to try it yourself. He could only see the introduction of the things in the jar. And he could only get it after others opened it. Of course, he wouldn't use this thing. Let Dad try it when we get back. After hearing Lin Mo's words, a chorus nodded. What do you want me to try? When a chorus nodded and spoke, Shoda walked in with a curious look on his face. He was holding one or two purses in his hands. One of them was handed to a chorus. Obviously, Shoda had divided it before coming. You're back so fast. Looking at the incoming hand, a chorus eyes lit up. I've opened 6 jars, and I can open 4 more. Dad, you can open one too. It seems that I opened it at the right time. Hearing a chorus words, the hand immediately handed the money to Lin Mo with a smile. Shopkeeper, this is the money for me to open the jars. Yeah, Lin Mo nodded. Choose. Then the 4 will do. And a chorus had already handed the purse in his hand to Lin Mo, and continued to choose the 4 jars in the previous place. Soon, 4 jars fell in front of a chorus. Just smash them all, maybe you will have good luck. Next to him, Tiantian squinted and said, Sister, a chorus can try. Is that so? Hearing Tiantian's words, a chorus pondered for a while and nodded immediately. It's just 4 jars. Just open them all. Bang 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 bang. For a moment, the 4 jars were smashed by a chorus. All of a sudden, 4 things fell down. 2 kunai, a bingliang pill, and a snow white pill. Looking at this thing, a chorus was silent for a while, and turned to look at Tiantian. These 4 things seemed to be terrible. Tiantian. Lin Mo. I won't say it again next time. Tiantian covered his mouth with both hands, and lowered his head with a red face. It doesn't matter. Seeing Tiantian's look, a chorus shook his head. Dad is here, I must speed up the speed of opening the jar. As he said, a chorus turned his head to look at Lin Mo, curiously. Shopkeeper, I know kunai and bingliang pills, so what is this? While speaking, a chorus looked at the snow white, round pill. Zuyan pill. The Zuyan pill made by an alchemist from a mysterious world can make your face permanently fixed at the moment of taking the medicine. It not only smooths the traces of time, but also gives the skin the delicateness and luster of a newborn. This is a good thing. Looking at the introduction of this thing, Lin Mo smiled faintly and introduced it. This thing is a good treasure for women. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Chongpu suddenly widened his eyes and asked in surprise, is it true? Is there such a thing in the world? It is too exaggerated to be able to keep a woman's face forever at a certain moment. Thinking of the magic of this jar, Chongpu's face became excited. Everyone will get old. Once you get old, you will be ugly. But with this thing, your face can be frozen at the most beautiful time. She felt that she was the most beautiful at this moment. Without any hesitation, a chorus immediately took the anti-aging pill and ate it. It's a little sweet. A chorus tasted it in an instant. Lin Mo looked at a chorus who had eaten the pill directly and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He really didn't expect that a chorus would eat it so straightforwardly. I feel that my face seems to have changed a little. After eating the anti-aging pill, a chorus quickly reached out and touched her face, and it seemed to feel smoother. Really, sister, a chorus. Tiantian looked at a chorus's face with some envy. Your face has become white, and it's so delicate, it feels so tender that you can pinch out water. While speaking, Tiantian immediately touched a chorus's face and found that a chorus's face skin felt surprisingly good. Really, hearing Tiantian's words, a chorus was surprised. Do you have a mirror? I didn't bring a mirror, I want to see. She was still very confident about her appearance. If there is any change, it will definitely be seen. Yes. Tiantian quickly took out a mirror from his seal scroll and handed it to a chorus, which made a chorus excited. My skin really became whiter. For a while, a chorus couldn't let go of her face. Pinching left and right, the touch made her immersed in it. Seeing this, Shuda smiled. It is indeed a good thing to be happy that her daughter has become beautiful and her face is forever. Lin Mo, I will choose those 9. Immediately, Shuda looked at the cabinet and quickly picked out 9 jars. As Lin Mo waved, 9 jars flew in front of him, and Shuta rubbed his hands excitedly. I don't know what good things these 9 jars can open. As long as a few more recipes are opened, it will be so cool. Thinking of this, Shuta decisively knocked open the first jar. Bang! The first jar broke, and a scroll fell down. Ninjutsu scroll. Looking at the appearance of this scroll, Tiantian looked over instantly and made a judgment. When his father opened the ninjutsu scroll before, it was also like this. Ninjutsu scroll. Hearing Tiantian's words, Shuta shook his head and said, this thing is useless to us. Neither himself nor Akoris is a ninja. It's useless to want this thing. It's not a ninjutsu scroll. Lin Mo shook his head gently and corrected Tiantian's words. Sea-level task scroll. The scroll that seals the sea-level task can obtain the sea-level task after opening it. The task is randomly generated and has a time limit. If it is completed within the valid time, you can get rich rewards. If it is not completed within the valid time, the scroll will disappear and there will be no rewards. The timer starts after the scroll is opened. Lin Mo was stunned when he saw the introduction of this thing. If he hadn't read the introduction, he would have thought it would be a ninjutsu scroll. Unexpectedly, it was a mission scroll. Since there is a C-level mission scroll, does that mean there is a B-level mission scroll? A-level mission scroll. Even if he thought that there were all kinds of things in the jar, he didn't expect there would be such a thing. If you don't open it, you won't know the mission. If you don't complete the mission, you don't know what the reward will be. Lin Mo shook his head and said, this is a C-level mission scroll. After opening it, a mysterious mission will appear. If you complete this mission, you can get benefits. If you can't complete it, you can't get benefits. You need to check the details yourself. Of course, as long as this scroll is not opened, there is no time limit and it can be kept. Only when it is opened, there is a limit. Mission, scroll. Hearing Lin Mo's words, he slapped his hand in astonishment. There is such a thing. Quote. Why does this thing sound so strange? Of course he knew about the mission, which was the mission affiliated with the village. The help seeker can post the mission with money, and the ninja will select and accept it. After completing it, he can get the reward for the mission. The difficulty of the general mission will be divided into levels. The more dangerous the level, the higher the level, and the more money. But you have to register, go through the procedures, and then accept the mission. Nowadays, this mission scroll doesn't even need to do these. How did the mission appear? Out of thin air. Ah. Thinking of the mission out of thin air, the hand thought of the magic of the can shop, and suddenly fell silent. It seems that it is not impossible. Interesting. When Tiantian heard it, he was interested. It turned out to be a C-level mission. The C-level mission in the village is generally out-of-village mission, such as escort, or extermination of stray ninjas, but it requires a team leader to accept it and complete it in the form of a team. Quote. This quest scroll actually appears randomly, and the quest is also random, which is really strange. This is the first time she has seen such a thing. Especially after hearing Lin Mo say that there is a reward for completing this quest scroll, she is more curious about what the reward will be. All this is unknown, but isn't it more interesting if the unknown does not prove it? The C-level quests in the village are generally not difficult. Quote. Akoris thought, but it is not an easy task. We are not ninjas. If we open it, it would be bad if there are some tasks that cannot be completed. After all, she has no power now. Dad even has no chakra. The tasks are all random and there is no fixed direction. Looking at the meditative Changpu and listening to Tiantian's words, Lin Mo smiled faintly and said, so there will be all kinds of tasks that you can't imagine, such as selling things or buying things. These are tasks. The specifics are up to you. Quote. He was also curious about this thing. After a while, I will take it out and take it apart to see what tasks will come out. It doesn't matter if you can't finish it. For him, this thing is just a taste. Aha. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Calamus nodded heavily. And Tate smiled and said, then I hope it will have tasks related to the ramen shop, so that I can be more relaxed and complete it. If possible, he would like to open this mission scroll and take a look now. Unfortunately, opening the mission scroll is time limited. You still have to open the can first. While thinking this, he put away this C-level mission scroll. Then he opened the second jar. Bang! The second jar shattered and a white ball of light fell down. It's an experience-type light group. Seeing this experience light group, Chongpu's eyes lit up. Dad, you've made a lot of money. Oh, hearing a chorus say this, he became even more interested in hand playing. A chorus, on the other hand, briefly explained the experience light group that had just been opened, causing Shoda to take a deep breath. It's so magical. Subconsciously, Shoda looked at Lin Mo and asked, Lin Mo, what kind of experience light group is this? 24 hours of squatting experience. It comes from a senior squatter's accumulated 24 hours of squatting exercise experience. After fusion, it can directly improve your squatting experience. Lin Mo, listening to the hand's words and looking at the experience light group that came out of the hand, Lin Mo's expression became even weirder. This thing is really useless. Lin Mo shook his head and said briefly, and was stunned when he heard it. What does he want from this experience? Better than nothing, Dad. When Calamus saw it, he smiled and said, anyway, it was you who made it. If it doesn't melt, it won't melt. There are only advantages and no disadvantages. Just melt it. That's right. Hearing a chorus's words, he nodded with his hands. Yes, after all, I paid for it myself. Without any hesitation, Shoda immediately reached out and touched the experience light group. In an instant, he felt that his legs were being exercised by hand spanking, which made his whole body tremble. Especially the feeling of exercise coming from his waist made him feel it very clearly. It's worth it. I feel that my waist bones are no longer tired, and my whole body feels refreshed. Is this the magic of experiencing light groups? Without any hesitation, he decisively continued to open the 2 jars. There were 2 bang bangs, the 2 jars broke, and 2 green vegetable leaves fell down. As this Chinkai, seeing that the leaves of this vegetable were still stained with water droplets, his expression became even weirder. True or false? 200,000 taels to grow 2 vegetable leaves. This is too bad luck. Popeye's spinach from a certain magical world is full of special power. After eating it, you can instantly become powerful. The simple introduction made Lin Mo take a second look. He was quite impressed by this thing. Immediately, Lin Mo said, this is Dolly spinach. Following Lin Mo's introduction, Shandai's face was tangled. For me, it's useless to become infinitely powerful. This thing is so useless to me. No, uncle, can't you still need the noodles? Tiantian scratched his head and said, when kneading noodles, don't you need to be strong? When the time comes to eat this spinach, your strength will become infinite, and kneading noodles will be easy. Hand type. That's true, but he can do it without eating this thing. Well, Shoudao sighed softly in his heart and wrapped the 2 pieces of spinach. No matter what, let's put it away first. Right. As soon as Shoudao picked it up, he suddenly thought of something and said quickly, Lin Mo, this won't be broken, right? Lin Mo. Of course. Lin Mo looked strange. Once the water droplets on this thing disappear, the effect will be greatly reduced. Once it turns yellow, it may be ineffective. After all, isn't this thing just spinach? It looked like it was still green when it came out, so it was obvious that it had just been picked. Well, hearing this, Shoda sighed again in his heart. So, shouldn't he have to eat quickly? It looks like I'll be making noodles like crazy when I get back soon. Let's make some hot and sour noodles by the way. As Tate thought this, he continued to look at the remaining jars. Then proceed to knock open 2 more. There were 2 bang bangs, and 2 more jars broke. This time a test tube containing a liquid fell down. The other one is a square cookie. Shoda glanced at it and then looked at Lin Mo. Because it's something he doesn't recognize again. He finally discovered that when Lin Mo opened a jar, even if what came out was food, it might not be ordinary food. On the contrary, it has a special effect. The Hobbit's elf biscuit made from grains from an unknown place. This elf biscuit can provide energy for a whole day. It is made by elves and is very suitable for long-distance travel. Rage potion with slight side effects. It was refined by a certain warlock with extremely inferior alchemy skills. This potion can increase combat effectiveness for a short time, but it has debilitating side effects after use. After seeing the 2 simple introductions, Lin Mo pinched his chin. He was somewhat impressed by these 2 things. These are elf cookies. Lin Mo first looked at the elf biscuits and said, you don't need to eat them in normal times. If you are traveling long distances in the wilderness or your life is in danger, you can eat them, because its seeds contain omen's strong vitality, and this kind of the ability is passed on to legal eaters, also known as the food of life. As for the other one, it is a berserk potion, which can increase your fighting power, that is, strength, but it will weaken you after use. Whether it is for ordinary people or ninjas, the effect of this berserk potion must be different. Will it expire? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Shoda looked at the cookie for the first time. No, Lin Mo shook his head. This kind of cookie is not an ordinary thing, it can be stored forever. As for how long the berserk potion lasts, it depends on the physique of the person who drinks it. Yeah, it sounds good. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Shoda immediately picked up the berserk potion with some reluctance to let it go. Seeing Shoda's actions, Lin Mo was very surprised. In Lin Mo's opinion, Shoda should pay more attention to the elf cookies that were registered. Why would he take a fancy to this berserk potion? After putting these two things in his pocket, Shoda looked at the remaining 4 jars and decisively prepared to knock them all open. I just knocked open 4 jars in a row, and the things that came out were not very good. Cyclone suddenly said in a faint tone. Dad, you might as well open 1 or 2 jars. Tiantian. Hearing what Cyclone said, Tiantian's eyelids twitched. If she had known earlier, she would not have said that to Sister Cyclone. It's broken, it seems that Sister Cyclone has a handle in her hand. Well, that makes sense. And Shuda had a strange look on his face, and immediately gave up the idea of knocking open 4 jars. With 2 bangs, 2 jars broke, and 2 different things fell down. One is a purple mushroom, and the other is a thick steak as big as a palm. Small poisonous mushrooms in Senluo Valley, mushrooms grown at the bottom of a mysterious valley. Because they were picked before they grew up, the toxins were not strong. At the same time, they need to be destroyed vigorously to make the poisonous mushrooms spray out poison. Although they are not disposable consumables, they will be completely useless if they are sprayed too much. Taboo steak from the land of Azer, taboo steak from a certain Azer region, a kind of food that restores health and mana, commonly seen as a recovery food for adventurers, and deeply loved by warriors, with a lot of meat and enough to fill you up. Looking at these 2 things, Lin Mo's face was strange. Why is it so fancy? This is a poisonous mushroom. Seeing that Shoda had already reached out to touch the small poisonous mushroom, Lin Mo spoke immediately, and instantly scared Shoda so much that he retracted his hand. Poisonous mushroom. But don't worry. Looking at the frightened Shoda, Lin Mo shook his head and laughed. The poison of this poisonous mushroom is not big. As he said that, Lin Mo briefly talked about this poisonous mushroom and steak, and Shoda frowned bitterly after hearing it. How could it be such a strange thing, all of which he couldn't use? A steak to restore health. A poisonous mushroom. Why does it feel like they are all a pile of garbage? Shoda sighed in his heart. He wanted to prescribe a gourmet recipe. Without a gourmet recipe, prescribe something related to healing. Wait. Suddenly, Shuda thought of something and said quickly, Lin Mo, this taboo steak you mentioned can restore people's health, but what about people's injured hands? Can it be restored? Or, is it useful for people with long-term injuries or hidden injuries? Hearing Shuda's words, Lin Mo raised his eyebrows and said, this thing, to put it bluntly, is a supplement to your body functions, such as physical strength. The kind you said is something that restores injuries, and this steak does not have this effect. While speaking, Lin Mo glanced at Shuda's right hand without leaving a trace. He remembered, although Shuda is not a ninja, he once used his injured right hand to throw a rolling pin and accurately and easily knocked down the Peking Dinki in Naruto. Okay. When Shuda heard Lin Mo's words, he was a little disappointed. In this way, there are only 2 jars left. I don't know what can be opened in the next 2 jars. Thinking so, Shuda knocked decisively. Bang bang, sounded twice. The last 2 jars were broken, and a blue ball of light and a white ball of light fell down. Shuda's eyes suddenly showed joy. It turned out to be an experience ball of light. He had just experienced the feeling of fusing experience balls of light. Now another one has been opened. I told you. A chorus looked at this scene and laughed. You're right to listen to me. If Dad had just smashed the 4 jars, they would probably be nothing good. Compared to the happy Akoris and Shuda, Lin Mo looked at the 2 balls of light with a strange expression. A thief's lock-picking experience. The lock-picking experience from a world-renowned thief, after fusion, can master the means of lock-picking and open most locks. Blue Light Awakening Ball. From a magical city, it can temporarily enhance the physical and mental abilities of ordinary people. After absorption, perception, strength and speed will be significantly enhanced, and the duration is 24 hours. Lin Mo. Looking at the ball of light opened by the hand, Lin Mo was speechless. A useless lock-picking experience, an awakening ball that has never been heard of. It's temporary. It's amazing. If he remembered correctly, the mutants in X-Men seemed to be this method. Shaking his head, Lin Mo spoke and briefly talked about the two experience light balls. After hearing Lin Mo's words, the smiling hand was in a good mood. It disappeared instantly and was replaced by speechlessness. What a thief's experience in picking locks. What do you want with this thing? There are also ones that can enhance the body, perception and spirit. Although it sounds amazing, it is only temporary. What does he want to do to improve his perception and body? The hair is useless. Well, for a moment, Shoda sighed softly. Really, these two light groups were a bit useless to him. However, seeing that there were no jars that could be opened, Shoda reached out his hand, touched the two light groups, and merged them into his body. After feeling the extra knowledge and active spirit in my mind, my hand-beating mentality gradually calmed down. In this way, once the 10 jars are opened, it's time to get back to busy making noodles. Shoda glanced at the food on the dining table behind Lin Mo and Tiantian, and said with a hearty smile, I won't disturb Lin Mo while you eat. Hearing the words of means, Lin Mo nodded, you can open the can again next week. You were lucky the first time and got a gourmet recipe. If you had continued to open the can, you might still be able to get it. Well, hearing this, Shoda sighed immediately and said, I didn't think of it at the time. Who would have thought that that gourmet recipe could produce such delicious snail noodles? Speaking of which, although he didn't get anything good when he opened the can this time, he still felt it was worth it. Because in his opinion, as long as the snail noodles are sold and become popular throughout Konoha, the money will almost come pouring in. And it is unique to Konoha Village. 2 million taels will be earned back sooner or later. In particular, his daughter was prescribed the elixir of eternal youth, so he was not dissatisfied. Thinking of this, Shoda looked at Lin Mo and said with a smile, Shop owner, if you come to my Ichiraku ramen store often, I will give you a free order. 1 code equals 1 code. Hearing this, Lin Mo laughed dumbly, they are all doing business. Immediately, Lin Mo chatted with Shoda, and Shoda left. Also leaving together was Calamus. Mr. Lin Mo, we may be neighbors in a few days. When a chorus left, he thought of something, turned around and smiled brightly at Lin Mo, and then ran out briskly. Neighbor. Lin Mo looked strange when he heard this. Is Calamus moving near him? Hey, Lin Mo, hurry up and eat, the food is getting cold. And Tiantian touched the food that was still a little warm, and suddenly said distressed, how about I reheat it? There's no need to be so particular. Just eat it. Hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo shook his head and laughed. If you heat things like vegetables, it will easily destroy the taste. There is no need. With that said, Lin Mo sat down. Seeing this, Tiantian also sat down immediately and did not go to heat the food again. Lin Mo, on the other hand, was thinking about another thing while eating. After eating for a while, I can take out the Charmander eggs. Since Naruto Uzumaki opened this thing, he has not extracted it. If you don't take it out, this thing may not hatch. When Lin Mo thought so. The other side, in the classroom of the ninja school, Uzumaki Naruto, who was waiting for Kakashi, was squinting his eyes, holding the bag in his hand, and rubbing his iron face from time to time, as if he was rubbing something precious. This guy. Next to them, Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura, who were sitting, saw this scene, and the corners of their mouths twitched. They were really curious about what was in Uzumaki Naruto's bag that could make Uzumaki Naruto make such a gesture. I don't know when it will hatch. Naruto Uzumaki, who was holding the Charmander egg, squinted his eyes and began to think in his mind. Last night, he felt a heartbeat in this egg. This made him very excited. You must know that if you can hatch it early, you will have a partner. Click. At this time, the classroom door was pushed open, and the masked Kakashi walked in. He was very surprised. Huh. No prank. While speaking, Kakashi looked at Uzumaki Naruto emphatically and raised his eyebrows involuntarily. It was too unexpected. Thinking of the instructions given to him by the third generation last night, Kakashi paid great attention to Uzumaki Naruto. Why is this kid so quiet today? Are you our instructor? Haruno Sakura looked suspiciously at Kakashi, who was dressed suspiciously. The teachers in the other groups are not hiding their faces, so why are they in the 7th group? That's right. Kakashi narrowed his eyes. Come out, little guys. With that said, Kakashi turned around and said, come up to the rooftop. Upon hearing this, Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura stood up immediately. Uzumaki Naruto also held his bag and walked very leisurely without panicking at all. Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura were paying attention from time to time. They always felt that Naruto was weird today. But I can't seem to tell what's strange about it specifically. It's a prank. When did Naruto stop playing pranks? Haruno Sakura thought about it in her heart and was very confused. Uchiha Sasuke, on the other hand, thought of the clone technique that Uzumaki Naruto had used before, and his face darkened. He is a genius, but he is not worth mentioning in front of this loser. This loser has been pretending all the time. If he could, he really wanted to punch Naruto in the face. Okay, let's introduce ourselves first. Soon, Naruto and the other two followed Kakashi to the empty rooftop. Kakashi turned around and said with a smile, let's get to know each other. Self-introduction. What's there to introduce? Isn't it written in our information? No, that's just basic information. I want to know what you like, what you hate, and what dreams you have. Kakashi pinched his chin and thought. For example, my name is Hatake Kakashi, I keep my likes and dislikes secret, and my dreams are nothing special, but I have a lot of interests. Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke. The three of them were all black. Especially Uzumaki Naruto, who felt that this idiot Kakashi was unreliable. Come on, Naruto, you go first. Kakashi ignored the reactions of the three people and looked at Uzumaki Naruto, from left to right, you are the first. Me. Uzumaki Naruto sighed and said, my name is Uzumaki Naruto, I like to eat ramen and instant noodles, and I hate to wait for 3 minutes for instant noodles. Kakashi. Looking at the lifeless Uzumaki Naruto, Kakashi raised his eyebrows. Why is it different from what the third generation said? Isn't Naruto a very optimistic child who likes to play pranks? How come he is more mature than him, who is older? As for the dream, naturally I want to make more money. The next second, Uzumaki Naruto took a deep breath, hugged the little fire dragon egg in his hand, and looked at Kakashi expectantly. Teacher Kakashi, can you lend me some money first? As long as he has money, he can go open the cans by himself. As a senior ninja, he is definitely rich. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.